welcome you in this Microsoft Excel tutorial for data analysis, where we will be discussing a lot of things about Microsoft Excel, how you can analyze the data using Excel. After watching this complete tutorial, you can work on any project which requires Excel. Right, so you must be thinking why we still need Excel in today's era when you have a lot of technologies and tools to analyze the data. You have SQL, you have Python, you have AI tools like ChatGPT. Then why we need Excel? Or you must be thinking, I'm using Excel since my childhood, so what's new in it? Let me answer it for you. Why learning Excel is must, right? Nowadays we see a lot of job openings around data, right? So if you want to get into the data related jobs, so you have data analyst, business analyst, financial analyst, data scientist, marketing analyst. So there are a lot of job roles available which requires Excel in it. So Excel is the entry point to get into the data world, right? So if I show you an example, so there are a lot of jobs in the market which requires the advanced skills in Excel. If you apply for a data analyst role, so mandatory skills are data analysis using SQL, Excel, right? Excel, you will see Excel everywhere in all the jobs related to data analyst or business analyst. You have MIS reporting, all the job roles requires Excel skills. So learning Excel is very essential. So let's start with the agenda. What all things we are going to learn in this today's video session. We will be starting with understanding what is Microsoft Excel, why we need Microsoft Excel. We have a lot of functions in Excel, so we'll be starting with arithmetic functions, time and date functions, logical functions, character functions. Then we will move to how to apply the filters. What are the different kind of filters we can apply into Microsoft Excel? How to do sorting using Excel, right? Then we will start working with the pivot table and we'll understand the advanced function into the Excel. Then this is the very exciting topic where we will develop reports and analytics using Excel. Right, then at the end we'll have an end-to-end project and use cases for data analysis in Excel. It will give you a complete picture how Excel is used in data projects. And after this video, if you complete this video, you guys can easily apply for any job role which comes for the Excel. And in this video we'll be using different data sets, so those data sets are available in the description of this video. You guys can download those data sets from the description. So let's start the session.
Let us talk about what is Excel. When I say Excel, maybe I can say Microsoft Excel for that sake. MS Excel is there as one of the most frequently and widely used application or tool, I can say. I usually start my session saying that whosoever is handy or good with MS Excel plus any other tool, maybe it could be SQL or Power BI, he or she will never be a jobless person. Why? 90% of the organizations, be it they are into the hardcore data science or data analytics role or services or not, but every single organization will be mandatorily having the Microsoft Excel and some kind of things in their place. Why? Because these are the basic fulcrum or the epicenter of one thing called MIS or reporting. So my dear friends, before I get into the technicals of MS Excel, I would strongly recommend you to keep these two keywords in your mind, that Excel is primarily used for two things, that is for MIS and reporting along with the analytical capabilities. And that is the reason it is being used almost everywhere. 90% of the organization, or maybe I can say 95% of the organizations are using these tools or applications in the day in and day out regular activities. Now, what is MIS? So first of all, let me give you the idea of what is Excel. Okay. Excel is a Microsoft product, first of all, or MS Office. When I say MS Office product, along with the Word, PowerPoint presentations, there comes an Excel. The keyword which you have to keep in your mind, that Excel is a spreadsheet. The only highlighting and the differentiating keyword you can have to understand Microsoft Excel correctly as compared to the other applications and the tools you will be learning going down the line, that could be SQL or Power BI, is the spreadsheet. Okay. What is spreadsheet is now comes the question. The sheet you can see on my screen is technically an Excel I am using for you to understand the things, and I am writing few things interactively. It is a combination of the rows, like the way you guys can see the numbers, and the columns. Rows are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Columns are A, B, C, D, E. And this spreadsheet is actually a game changer for all the regular MIS and reporting activities. Now, the full form of MIS is management information. That means all the regular day in and day out communication related to the operational activities within an organization is being generally taken up or taken care by the MS Excel or the spreadsheets within that. Now, when I say spreadsheet, the clarity one should be having in their mind is that it is not a database where you are storing the data. In fact, there is no formal thing called data to be stored here. In fact, there is no table in fact. I hope Hiren and my other friends, you would be agreeing with that. Fundamentally, there is no table. It seems like there would be a table. Suppose I capture some values, some information there, that is name, age, income, and location. What I'm trying you to understand is actually a very technical point. So please make sure that you guys are properly adhering with or listening to me. Now I can write your name, like Hiren is there, who is my friend, and Zainab is there, and many of the folks are there, right? Deepti is there with us, Zahida is there. So I can have all the values for you guys. Your name, age, income would be there. For you guys, it may be looking like a table because this has been crafted out like a formal table having some rows and the headers and the columns, that is name, age, income, or location. But fundamentally, if you would look that into the higher perspective or the larger perspective, these are the informations or the data points which I have captured into the combination of some rows and the columns you have as a part of that spreadsheet. So Microsoft Excel as a whole is nothing but a spreadsheet where you can keep some data, information, or the data points in the combination of rows and columns in a free flow fashion, out of which you can do some calculations, some visualizations, like I can create the charts over all of these values you are coming out of this table. I can do some basic analysis, I can do some reporting, and so on and so forth. And that is why Excel is being used. If you would ask me why Excel, because it is a core application used almost everywhere for MIS reporting or dashboarding, I can say. To give you the larger picture, I have been undergoing with lot of the POCs as in proof of concepts or the project communications, the initial proposals. Okay, POCs as in proposals, project proposals with the leading MNCs. Recently, also, I have been discussing that with the Alliance Services and the Aon have it as an organization. And many of the projects which is now coming into my businesses, like based on their whole data is currently based on or positioned with the MS Excel. And they want to make the reporting structure being more streamlined and strengthened with the Power BI, added with the more and more SQL structured operations. So all the organizations are having the data. If the data is too heavy to be handled, it would be definitely going to be either on SQL or Oracle. If the data is with few hundreds and the thousands of the records, most of the or many of the organizations are doing the day in and day out job with the MS Excel. So long story short, MS Excel is a Microsoft Office product where you have an application called as spreadsheet, where you can have the data points and the informations in the free flow manner, like the way I am writing some numbers and the calculations and some statements there. You can have some numbers like the way I have been writing there for you. It would be the data for you guys, okay? I can have some Excel file data being also shared with you or seen with you. Now, why this is being used? This is being used because it is a regular tool or an application for daily and day in and day out activities related to the management information system, the flow of the information or the data from one level to another level. So Zahida, you were asking me what is MIS, right? I would make your life easier by a simple chart, and this is going to be helpful for most of the other folks as well. The full form of MIS stands for Management Information System, like the way I mentioned it. Fundamentally, all the organization or enterprise level information is not like the way we are talking that in our families, like this has happened to a relative and all, but formal organization based on the numbers, based on the figures and the facts is gonna be done with the MS Excel. And the best way I personally believe, which can demonstrate this idea, is in the form of this. And two arrows stands for the relevance and the importance of that information. Give me a second, guys. I'm just minimizing this window. And the volume. How come this makes sense to you? Suppose, I'm giving you an analogy, and that will definitely help you to understand the overall idea. I also have an organization, and we are a small team of 45 people. We are more into the services, so we don't really have we are more into the B2B or services. So we are not like Amazon or Walmart, where we have the client data or customer level data for every order or so. So our data is very structured and limited. And to give you the better clarity, most of my regular operational data is being captured in Microsoft Excel itself. Like whatever the employees I have in my company, their daily activity, which project they are working on, which project, how many hours on which project for which client they are working. So I am keeping a track of all the daily inputs in an Excel on a daily basis. Suppose today is 3rd November. Tomorrow also I will be keeping that as 4th November with all the informations. Weekly and monthly, we are just using that central master data for all our regular activities, be it to raise their payroll, to define which employee should get how much money or remuneration based on their efforts for the whole month. If it is a freelancer, if it is a salaried person, because I have a column, whether it's a freelancer or a salaried person. So I would filter them out. Salaried person will be giving them the standard salary. Freelancers calculating their efforts based on the projects or the billing amount. Same data, further crunching the numbers and the information, I am sending it to my CA, chartered accountant, who is further using it to calculate the GST or the other taxes. Same thing I'm using to raise the bills or the invoices to my client. Same thing I'm using it to generate my income or my salary. And same thing I have been using for the thousands of the other activities. So long story short, I have been doing all of these things in Excel, and maybe a possibility at the end of the year, I can create some charts where I can see, okay, which client is giving me 65% business, which client is giving me 35% business, and which client is giving me what kind of business. So I can decide, okay, this is my valuable client, this kind of work we are doing for those clients. So that means all the kind of visualizations, charts, graphs, plots, calculations, manipulation, statistical analysis can be done at a one-point solution. That is my Microsoft Excel. So that is a one-stop solution for almost everything right there, which we are required to do in a day in and day out activity. And that is the reason Excel has been there since ages. You cannot really compare or say that Ankur, I can do all of these things with Excel, with an SQL, then why we need Excel? I can do all of these things with Python, then why we need to have an Excel? I can do all of these things with Power BI, and so on and so forth. So it is always and always gonna be a comparison between an apple and an orange. You can never have an apple to apple comparison because Excel is a one-stop solution for every single thing. There may be some constraints with the speed or the kind of calculation speed or the kind of limitation in terms of how many records of the data you can hold on. But other than that, Excel is at par, and that is the reason it has been there since ages, and it is gonna be not replaceable at all, at least till the time I'm taking my last breath. So with that note, I think you guys are clear with what that Excel stands for, why that Excel stands for, what is MIS and why MIS. Is that clear? Cool. Let me complete that chart, whatever I was drawing for you. Here, when I say relevance on the information at the top, let us suppose there is a CEO of an organization, and at the grassroots level, there are the workers. CEO has hardly to do with anything whether a particular labor or a worker has been an absent or a present or a half day. He has nothing to do with that, but his immediate supervisor may have been having something to control with, right? So CEO, manager, senior manager, director, this kind of flow of the data and the information you can say. And that is the reason volume is very high right at the bottom. But CEO has nothing to do with whether his out of the 10,000 employee base, which one is available, which one is not available, which one has been working on that particular day or not. He or she has to be just taken care of profit and loss or some other activities, correct or not? So this is where the Excel stands for. I would probably ask you to go a little bit informal. I would be using the slides and the text in a while, but because you are there on the other side of the table, maybe I can ask you to go simple in most of the things. So what you can do is, in most of my recommendations, I always prefer using the Wikipedia page, okay? If you guys can see my screen, there could be nothing better than Wikipedia for answering almost everything in a most layman form, in a most simple way, and that too in a complete holistic picture. So here also, it's in a spreadsheet, Microsoft product, where you can do some calculations, computations, calculations, graphics, visualizations, charts, pivot table. I'll be discussing that, and some automation can also be done. Like there is a feature in Microsoft Excel itself. There is a programming tool within an Excel called VBA, Visual Basic Application, with the help of which you can do the automation as well. So all the scripts can be written within an Excel using the VBA. So I hope you got all the answers right at the same point. Let me come back to this. Calculations, or maybe you can say computations, whatever the way it works for you. Visualizations, charts, graphs, plots. You can do some analysis, and at the end of the day, reporting. When I say reporting, you can consider it like MIS stuff. And most important, and one of the other thing is like you can do the automations using the VBA scripts. So I think this is enough for you to get started with. So here you have the answer of what is MS Excel and why MS Excel. Just spend 50 seconds over that on your screen, guys. And let me know if you further have any doubt, question, concern. Sorry, what I did. Okay, yeah. Take a look into that, spend 50 seconds over these two articles. What is MS Excel and why MS Excel? And feel free to reach out to me for all the questions you have. For this very first session, I might be running a little bit easy, little bit slow. I would not say slow, but a little bit slow, just to get all my folks and the learners to be accommodated who are absolutely new to this Microsoft Excel world. As a cricket rule, A batsman should or ideally takes few extra balls to cement his innings, like Virat Kohli. If he is stable, then he can hit the centuries or half century within the next 20 balls. So that is what I'm saying. For many of you, I might be running slow. Many of you, I might be running fast. But don't worry, from next session onwards, you would be having absolutely amazing learning experience. This is actually a retail data. Think it like something you are ordering on Amazon or Flipkart. It's a transactional level data at an order level. Order level means multiple users will have the multiple orders being placed over a period of time. Like each one of you may place several orders over a time. So each one of you may have 10, 20 or 30 orders. It might be a little bit slow, but don't worry because you understand that there is a apprehension. So I think you would be understanding that fact, okay? So in the real world situation, this is how the data in an Excel looks like the way you can see on your screen. I have that sample superstore file where I have like around 10,000 records available. 21 columns are there. And it's an order level transactional data, something you are ordering on Amazon or Flipkart. Multiple users have multiple transactions like Brosina Hoffman have several orders placed. Same way, Ken Blank has several orders being placed. These are the orders. Then you have several sheets. Within an Excel file, you can have multiple sheets as well. This is the sheet 1. This is the sheet 2. Like the way in my system as well, when you have been going through with that discussion, you can see I had that sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and I can keep on getting multiple sheets added. So this is how the typical Excel looks like. And when I say data, over this data, whatever you have it right there, you can just go through with whatever we were talking about earlier, few minutes before. You can do all the kind of calculations, computations, manipulations, analysis, visualizations, and so on. And that is what we have been going to be there in our discussions. As a generic takeaway, you being there on the other side of the table, these are the things which I would be strongly recommending you to stick with during the learning process or after this conversation, with me, without me, with any training, without any training. This is what ideally you should be all handy with. Okay, topics you should be handy with. And when I say should be, whether you are available in the class, whether you are present, absent, that's a separate matter. But at the end of the day, with me, without me, these are the topics you guys should be properly commanding your role. So Excel comes with lot of the preloaded functions. Okay, this is going to be the lifeline for all of us. Fundamentally, for almost everything, there are functions. There is a function. Function is nothing but a preloaded capability, a pre-written code, pre-written module or a functionality which can get any job being done for you. And a very, very simple note, I am getting two numbers written here. And Don't probably try that as of now, but I am helping you to understand that, okay? We will be having a separate conversation now for the practice part. So don't just try to experiment that. What I am now using is a sum function with the help of which I can get the sum of these two numbers. How to use that function, what are all the functions we have is a different story altogether. I am not going into that. But as of now, all I just want you to understand that, my dear friends, that like the way I have a sum function here, same way there are thousands of the functions available. Is that clear to you? Is that clear to everyone, guys? The catch and the point is that suppose Hiren comes with a smart call and asks Ankur, I came across with XYZ function. Can you explain that to me? Point is that this XYZ function, what Hiren may have used, may not have been used by me. If I don't know this function, does not really means that I am a bad trainer or a bad data analyst. Because Excel comes with a lot of the versions. Today, I may have a version X.1. Tomorrow, I can have a version X.2 as well. And that can have a added functions or the functionalities. It is not about learning all of these functions. I cannot teach you all these functions. You can never learn all of these functions. So rather than you focusing on getting these functions remembered, try to take them as a lifeline that boss, there would be any function for you to go with. I hope it is clear now. There will be definitely a function for your help is the approach. My help is to get you the right approach. Otherwise, you can keep on learning these functions. Today, you are getting along with the Excel. The day when I will start with SQL, you will be forgetting all these functions. Trust me. And I don't want to get into that game where you are learning, I'm helping you to learn, then you are forgetting, then you are blaming yourself and then blaming me. So there is no point. It is important for us to come up with the right approach. Approach is that there are functions. You may have a function, whatever it is required. So you just have to go along with that. You may have used that in the past. Go for it. If it is handy for you, if it is not, maybe we can look for the better availability. And that's what gonna be the right approach. Now, because there are thousands of the functions, it is gonna be a haywire for all of these things. So maybe I can say, or I can divide them into the various categories like arithmetic functions for all the calculations, like the way sum is what I have been used. I have been using same way I can use count, sum, mean, and blah, blah, blah. Is that clear to you all? Mathematical, arithmetic, whatever the classifications you are doing. Or trigonometrical, geometrical. Some statistical functions can also be there for you. 10 time related functions to handle the date and time. Some logical functions and some advanced functions. So all I'm saying is that we will be going with this approach rather than considering those 1000 of the available functions in a scattered here fashion. I'll be helping you to get a structured approach to learn the regular mathematical or arithmetic functions, regular statistical, date and time, logical, and some other advanced functions so that you can have a better command of all of these things. Like quantiles function, percentile, quartile, variance, standard deviations, and some other basic tools. Fundamentally, like this is just a flow I have been, but I mean, you can keep it like as a part of the mathematics. Okay. So that is one thing. But most importantly, how I am going to be starting with you is with the data. Okay, that's a separate call, which is used for calculations and communication. So data is right there. And the very first thing is to navigate and access that data. So for that, we need to learn the shortcuts. For me personally, shortcut is very important for each one of you to go with. You have the better graphical user interface and the complete panel for you to get any kind of job being done. But Being into the industry, being into the world, it is always and always needed for you to have a proper command of all the shortcuts. Shortcuts will make your life easier. Clear? So the way how I'm going to be helping you to go through with all of these things is in the Excel module 1, which I have shared with you. You guys can open that. The very first sheet is helping us to understand the shortcuts. Then we will be spending some time to format our data. What do you mean by formatting? Means aligning or changing the look and feel and the display, or to format that in a proper fashion. So this is going to be the next piece. But before that, we are going to be learning how to access, navigate, control, and command our data. For your easy takeaway, I have created a two-dimensional table. And this whole conversation is based on the three musketeers, that is Shift, Control, and Alt key on your system, with the combination of left arrow, right arrow, up and down arrow. This is how you can control, select the data. Because you can have millions and the millions of the records, not millions practically, but yeah, thousands and the thousands of the records for sure. So you cannot just, go and select one row and all. Suppose someone is asking, Ankur, can you give me top 5 records or top 10 records? So how I can get those records, or how I can go for the selected pieces? So that is where the shortcuts are needed. I hope you guys can all see my screen. I will help you to go through with that, and then I will give you the time to practice that along with me. On this screen, you have the left arrow, right arrow, and some other keys. And what is going to be happen if I'm pressing that with Shift, Control, Alt, or combined Shift and Control? Let us understand that. For that demonstration, I have a dummy table data. This is a dummy table data you have right below. As I mentioned, every table is a combination of row and column. Here also you have a lot of rows and the columns. Column names, you can consider it like employee ID, department, designation, joining year, salary, income tax, and so on. Each entity, the smallest entity you have, is called a cell. What is cell? Cell is a particular box where you are currently positioned. Box where you are currently positioned. The one which I have highlighted here is the cell which I would be using in my conversation is D20. What is D20? At the row number 20th, with the column number D, you have a box which is cell within which you can write or control anything. So this is what the cell is. What is cell? Cell is the smallest unit or a placeholder where you are storing any value or the data. Is that all clear to everyone, guys? Any question here? Okay. So currently, I am positioned at D20 as a cell, and I am now helping you to understand what will happen if I'll press left arrow with the shift key, left arrow with the control key, and so on and so forth. Here you go. Take a look and then try to do that once I'm exploring that. So I am positioned at D20 and I am pressing the shift key from my system and the laptop and the left arrow. You can see clearly that I am slightly able to select the cells going towards the left. Can you all see that? The highlighted section. This way it is moving. Right? Would you have seen that? Let me do that again for you. I am at this cell currently. I have pressed shift and pressing the left arrow. One at a time. So now you can see I have been able to select the manufacturing or able to select this employee ID, where I can control C and control paste that to anywhere. I can put it right there for you. Got my point, guys? You can see I have selected these three cells going towards the left. In this representation, needless to mention that, like the way I have been explaining you, that left arrow will keep the things and select the cells, help you to select the cells going towards the left. Same way, right will help you to go towards the right and select. Up will go towards the up and down will go towards the down. I'm giving you 2 minutes time to practice out all of these things with the red highlighted portion only. Don't go further. Just focus on red highlighted portion. Clear to everyone, guys? Hi, Gauri. I forwarded the link. Can you guys please share the link again over the chat window? Few of the folks have joined us later. Can one of you please share that link again? Let me see if it is handy. No. Hiren, can you please do the honor for Gauri? Gauri, I remember this is the first session, right? You have not been a part of the conversation last time because I got some inputs from the team. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So maybe in the end, for last 15 minutes, I can touch base with you on a one-on-one basis. If you feel something needs to be discussed, clarified based on the last session or today's session, I would be more than happy to answer all your queries. Okay. Yeah, hi Zaheda. Yes, maybe I can look for and search for a shortcut for that. Most of them would be working in a similar fashion, but some of them might not be equivalent because it is at the end of the day a Microsoft product. So that's how it works, okay? Because you have a command and a control, so there is a difference between a control and a command actually. Let me know once I can take this forward, guys. Same way, so let me highlight that portion. We have been able to discuss that yellow portion. Same way, rather than moving one cell at a time, control helps you to get at the leftmost, rightmost, topmost, or bottommost cell. Let me show you. Suppose I am at this cell E22. Okay, take a look on my screen, everyone. I am at cell E22. With that control and left key, I am able to jump to B22. So that means I am able to jump to the leftmost cell directly. If I select this and this. Clear to everyone? So generally we use only control when we have to move toward the extreme left, extreme right for some reason and so on. So try to have this command control in all the combinations, but I'm quickly covering that. Shift and control combined will help you to select the rows all together at a single go. That means the combined feature of shift and control will be done. So I'm pressing shift and control and pressing the left key. And that you can see is selecting this whole cell quickly in a single go. Clear? In a single go, I am able to select the whole row altogether. That is what I am able to do. I am able to select the complete row with this. And same goes with left arrow, right arrow, and so on. So for now, what we have been talking so far is the shortcuts, where you all are covered with these many items. Spend 5 minutes over that, guys. And let me know if you have any doubt, question, concern. So ignore that for a moment. Okay, that's a separate call. Alt only doesn't make any sense. So just find shift control and shift control. Okay. Highlighted portion, please, on my screen. 5 minutes to you. I think, okay, so let me remind it again. I have been focusing and asking you to just focus on these 4 items. Okay, let's not go too ahead of all of these things. I'm yet to talk on these items further. Are you all done with this, everyone? Okay. Now, let me quickly take you through with the other items. So suppose I am on cell E22. Shift with the space bar is helping you to select the row of the entire Excel file, not of the table. Okay, think it like this way. You have been able to select the row of the Excel file, not the table, like this way. So if you will press space bar with the shift key, you will be able to select the row of the Excel file, not the table. Same way with the control and space bar, you would be able to select the column of the Excel, not the table, like this way. Whatever you have in the whole column of this Excel file would be then eventually selected. Shift control with spacebar is hardly used, but fundamentally you are able to select this whole row, whole table. You can experiment that. That's one thing. Home only with a control keyword will take you to the start of the workbook. So there is a keyword called home. When I press that home with the control key, it takes me to the start of the worksheet. That means at A1. You can check it right away. Be it whatever the place I am in, control and home, I am able to go through with this cell if you can see. Can you see that? A1 or A20, A2, sorry, yeah, because, yeah. Might be first row is being highlighted or so. So, if you will ask me where and how to use all of these things, Ankur, practically or professionally, suppose I'm working on a very heavy data and I'm somewhere lost at somewhere in my lower side of the table, okay? We don't know even. And I want to probably get at the first line or the first way. So that way, to move to the extreme top, I can press Control Home and can get into the beginning. Their application can be for any reason. Don't really get worried about the application part, my dear friends, as of now, because once you will start using them, you will get to know the applications as well. So don't get too much troubled about the applications. But long story short, once you have a clarity on how to get at the top, then you, wherever it is required, whenever it is required, I can get through with this. As a simple answer, those folks who are already working, I think Tammy must be knowing it because she has been serving in the HR department. So suppose I am working with my client and I have multiple sheets. And suppose I am right there at this cell. And if I'll save this file right at this place only and will send it to my client, when the client will open this file, it will be openable, it will be opened right at that very same position. That means at D48 as a view, which is not aesthetically correct, which is not professionally relevant. Fundamentally, if I'm sharing the file, it should be open right at the beginning or at the top. And that is the reason, if you would ask me, Ankur, where and how you are using that home option with the control key, before I'm sending the file to the client, I make sure that I'm pressing control home and then saving the file so that once it is saved and send it to the stakeholders, it is getting opened right at the beginning, not somewhere at the bottom line. So applications can be anything. And we're going to be having it once I'm using it in a proper function. Okay. Yeah, you can, iPad will not be helping you. Function and left arrow key is what typically helps us. Command left. So as far as I remember, control plus function plus left arrow will help you to take you to the equivalent functionality of control and home on Windows. Okay. So end will take you to the end like the way we have been discussing that with the home context. Now there is a page up and page down. Suppose I have multiple sheets. This is sheet 1. This is sheet 3. If I have to hop to sheet 2 or sheet 3, then I may use my mouse, which is not that appropriate way, not a formal way, not a right gesture. So with the combination of control and page up and page down, I can use, like you can see, I'm able to toggle or hop to my other sheets towards the left, towards the right. Okay, I'm just pressing control and using my page up or page down accordingly. So with that way, you are able to move towards the next sheets or the previous sheet. Then comes the plus option, shift control plus. Okay, just put a cursor or a mouse somewhere on the any row, and with shift and plus, shift control and plus, you would be able to add a new row, like the way I have been able to do that. Suppose I'm at this row, I have selected that, and shift control plus helps me to add the rows. You can see same way I can add the columns, right? Control with the minus key can delete the rows, right? Suppose I want to delete all these records right away. Let me paint that. I want to delete the yellow highlighted rows, control minus. So it's gone now, you can see. Same way, if I want to get through or delete these columns, here you. So it will ask you whether to shift the cells left or right, because there might be like few pieces I may not have selected, but control minus can help you to delete the whole stuff like this way. Okay. So this is how you're going to be using the plus with the combination of shift and control altogether will help you to insert the rows or the columns which you are using, and minus with the control only key will help you to delete the records. So with this way, you have to probably get yourself handy with all of these shortcuts. This is just a gateway. Going down the line, whatever the analysis we will be using, I would be it, I'm categorically mentioning it or not, but you need to adhere with that. Is that clear? I may not be asking you again and again that use these shortcuts in the upcoming exercises, but from this point onwards, you need to mandatorily adhere with them. Is that all clear to everyone, guys? Help of which you are changing the aesthetics, look and feel, display of the data in a more simple way, okay? Spellings could be here and there, so don't worry. In a most simple way, I would request you to think like, suppose I'm writing a number, and this number, I'm copy pasting it for you, just for the sake of your clarity. I can represent it in a multiple way, because by default it is general, but I can put that into the any currency form like in India because it is rupees. So I have been able to put that into the rupee format. The only thing which I would like you to understand here is that the value at this cell at C77 and this cell is very same. Behind the curtains, this is also 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see when I'm clicking on that, looking into the formula bar. So the bar you can see here is the formula bar, which holds the exact value. And there you can see my actual value behind the curtain is 1, 2, 3, 4. But on the front end, I am able to see that in the form of rupees 1234.00. That means in a typical currency format. So that is what the typical idea of formatting means, how you are playing with the display, look and feel, aesthetics, or the way the data is being shown to you. Formatting is of three types. General formatting, conditional formatting, and customized formatting. Whatever you guys can see on my panel, right from this way to this way, this is all going to be helping you for general formatting. General formatting is nothing but the way how you are keeping the cosmetics. Cosmetics, everyone understands, right? Like the typical cosmetics being wear by women or males as well to a certain extent, but on a lighter note, yeah. So color, shape, size, font, alignment, everything is going to be handled and to be talked about under the general formatting. Me as a trainer, you as a learner has really nothing to technically understand and learn here. Likewise, if I have a selected a yellow color, then obviously the text would be turned out to be yellow. If I have to change that color to anything else, then it will be surely coming out to be in that way. So I don't want to waste your time to understand and unnecessarily go into the general formatting. I hope this makes sense to everyone. If you are fine, then I can waste, but still, I would like you to consider that, guys. There is no point for me and to waste me and you to waste your time to get into that general formatting unnecessarily. You can probably practice that separately, as in I have a practice sheet as well for your help. Okay, I will be helping you. So what you can do is take a look into that, go to the formatting. Okay, as a part of this very same activity of general formatting, I am speaking. On a very quick note, without wasting much time, I'm doing that for you. So I've selected that. Selection should also be done with the shortcuts. I hope this makes sense. Selections now should also be done with the shortcuts. So don't just select the cells one after the another. Use the shortcuts, Control Shift Enter for the whole table. Got my point? Like I'm here, Shift Control, tuck, done. Selected. Whole table selected in a single go. Clear? So try to make sure that you are using the shortcuts and getting that formatted like the way I am asking for. Alignment is middle, I'm keeping it. Then this is gonna be blue, selecting the blue with the black or the white text, whatever the way you looks like to be there. And some internal borders. Borders are gonna be right from this place. Outer border has to be bold, keeping it bold. Wow. And this is fine, this is fine. Then I think this is gonna be changed to without decimal, remove the zeros, put a comma separation, then further remove the zeros, keep it center. Same thing goes here. Formatting can also be copy pasted, right? This format painter is there. You can copy paste that. So try to use the format painter as well. This one. So this comes a value formatting issue, but in case if you want to get rid of that, put an apostrophe right into the beginning. That helps you to get along with that in most of the cases. But it is like number or character related thing. How I have been doing that, I am multiplying the numbers with 1. Okay. I mean, I have been doing that smarter job. This is equals to this. And I think if I'll multiply that with 1, so this is a cheat method. But in this case, your 0, 0, 0 will be gone away, but without error now. Got my point? So that depends what kind of data you have. Because this number value has been transformed into a text is the reason it is continuing with that. Okay, but you can extend that. Like formulas can be dragged like the way I have been doing it. I hope you're getting my point. Because I have been doing that in many of the cases in my professional world long way before. There were some numbers getting some errors like this. So I converted them into the numeric form rather than a text form. So this issue, what you are asking is actually this is a character value and you have to turn out to be into the number. That's where it comes from. In my case, this is like getting started with 0, 0, 0, 0 is the reason you have been having it. Otherwise, it will not be an issue. Now, what you are asking is it's a heavy data, that's fine. I mean, formulas are extendable. I don't need to write that formula 10 times. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I can double click it and it will be extended. Suppose I'm at the sheet, conditional formatting, control and page up. So page up and page down is going to help you to take you to the left or right. In your case, not sure. You might be working on the very first sheet. So there is no scope further for you to go towards the left. So try to go on both the sides. Then only you can check. I'm sure you are not doing that basic mistake. Page up and page down also you should try, because you might be on the very first sheet. Nothing is there at the left. Anyone else with the doubts? Gauri, Deepti, Srinivas, Tani, Zahida. So now we are discussing the conditional formatting. Okay. Conditional formatting is gonna be the way how you are formatting the data based on the given conditions. And those conditions could be anything in a simple way. So there is a dedicated tab for it as well, conditional formatting, with the help of which I can do all the required conditional formatting. And this could have anything. This is a concept like highlight the cells based on the given conditions, data bars, and so on. So as an example, based on the quantum of the number, the length of the pillars are getting increased or decreased, right? You can have the color scales. Suppose I am your manager and you are into the sales department. I can quickly envisage or see, okay, red means something is wrong. So this is giving me the very, very poor sales as compared to this green one. So average, darker red, darker green. So these kind of things can be handled by conditional formatting. I hope this is clear as far as the concept is concerned, guys. Online friends? Lovely. And this can have most of the things, okay? All I'm saying is that highlight cells based on less than, greater than some conditions, top bottom rule, this and that. This can go to any extent. That's not a matter. Like I can use these pillars, red lights, icons. But it's not a matter of learning them. It's all about getting into the idea of understanding what the conditional formatting is. And based on the given situation, you can use them as and when it is needed. Clear? Take your time. As I have been telling to you that it's a bottom to top approach. I have given you some rule-based conditional formatting and some criteria. Below is what I have done there. Over to you, 10 minutes. Go for it, guys. Go to the page called conditional formatting. I'll help you step by step. Highlight cells rules. Sales greater than 6,000, put it in green means. Select this. Highlight cells based on some conditions. That means greater than. Greater than what number? 6,000. Put 6,000 here. Color, because green, so green. So that way you have to go for that. And same way, top, bottom, data bars and everything has to be marked upon. Clear to everyone? So those only entries which are greater than 6,000 would be then coming up into the green color. Go for it, guys. 10 minutes to you. And tell me, this is going to be really important because I can then filter out. Like if you want to see, suppose I put a filter, don't ask me how to put a filter because I'm going to be explaining you in a while. But you see this idea. With the color filter, I can filter that. Can you see that? Only the entries which are green color have been picked up. So this is how the industry works. Got my point? I can focus and select, okay, only these items. Clear now to everyone? Cool. So go on. One item, second item, third item, fourth, fifth, sixth. You have 10 minutes, not more than that. So greater than 8K is upward because it is G8, G8. This one you are saying. Ideally, it should not be. Maybe you can check it because numbers are going to be numbers always. It cannot mix and match. So you have to give some conditions like this one, but you can define the rules as well. Okay. You can define the rules. So that way you can control them. By default, in your case, it is going to be taking you with the given conditions, but you can define the icon rules as well. So in the icons, go to the more rules. So there you can give them the conditions. Okay. I think this is what you were asking for, right? In the specific panel, whenever you want to give your own conditions, you have to go to the more rules. So here, go to the more rules. There you have a scope of playing around with the hard-coded customized conditions. I hope this answers your query now. So I'm selecting this G, conditional formatting, icon set, and going into the more rules. whatever you want to use, this one, and this one, you can play around with the values. Got my point? I'm repeating it again. Go to the conditional formatting. Depending on what you need to use, you can either go for it. By default, it is going to be taking you the equal splits. But if you want to play around with that, go to the more rules. So more rules will help you to get into the substantial idea. You can select the icon cells, like which one you want to use. I want to use this, so it will automatically change it to that. And you can play around with the values. Percentage wise you want to play, or actual numbers you want to have. Here you have a scope of playing around with everything. Yes, that's correct. So what Rama is saying is what I'm saying it right here. Whether you want to play around with the numbers or percentage, so you have to select them categorically. Icon sets. There are multiple icon sets you have. These are all the icon sets. Depending on the situation, depending on the requirement, you can have it. You can have them. Suppose I want to use this one. If you want to continue using and following some given values, then go for the option called more rules. Like the one I'm going, I have selected more rules. There, I can select the required icon set because you have to go for the row arrows one. I have selected the arrows one. Now, as per the given condition, I am required to have upward arrow for those values which are greater than 8,000. Flat is in between 7 to 8 and below 7 is downward. So this is what I need to punch in here. In many of the cases, your data is being controlled by the percentage form, but here it is not percentage anymore. I have been given the absolute values. So I have to change them with the number and can mention the absolute numbers, as in upward arrow is anything greater than or equals to 8,000. So that is what you need to work upon. So you can see value is greater than equals to 8,000 would be upward, less than 8 and greater than 7,000 would be this one, and sorry. Right? And it has automatically taken the last one. So when it is lower than 7,000, it is going to be red one. So based on that, you are able to get the icons as per the given situation. Okay, now I'll help you to understand the mantra and the idea of customized formatting, and then we would be almost done. If you have to remove any rules, so you can use clear rules. So I can get rid of any rule. Now, customized formatting is actually a way of formatting the data based on some given conditions. Numbers, character, date, all the different things can be handled accordingly. Before I move forward, it is really very important for you to understand the dates. It's a separate discussion altogether, but I would like you to pick it up right away. I am focusing on the dates. What is date is the answer. So for that, everyone write this formula of today function, open and close the parenthesis and hit enter. Everyone just do that. Put an equals to sign, write today, close the round braces and end the round braces. You could have placed TO and press tab, can also get you the job done. For the sake of your clarity, I have copy pasted this date in 3 different boxes, just to tell you the one basic thought that if I'll change this date, currently you can see it is automatically picked up as a date, as a format. If I'll change it to number, that number turns out to be 45999. 45599 actually. Now, what is that number? We need to understand that. plus, as I have told you, or as I have been telling to you many of the times, formatting is just a way the numbers are being displayed. I can keep it as a short date, I can keep it as a long date, or I can keep it into some other numbers. So this is also 3rd November. This is technically also 3rd November, but our number is, this is 3rd November. This is also 3rd November, but this turns out to be any digit for you. This is also 3rd November 2024 with some larger extensions. Let me remove the last one to avoid any confusion. So few things, what that number is. This is commonly asked interview questions, not a typical interview question because this doesn't carries any weight. But I would like you to understand what actually the date is in any tool, be it in Excel, be it Python, be it R, be it SAS, be it SQL, you will have that thing. Date ideally has to be a number. Date is ideally has to be a number. In Excel, that is the number of days starting from 1st January 1900. So fundamentally, these are the number of days. If you will count that on your tips, these are going to be the number of days starting from 1st January 1900 till today. So date is going to be a number in all the tools. That is how it has been quantified. And in Excel, it is the number of days starting from 1st January 1900. So that is first thing. I can play around with that format as I have been telling to you. Now there is a quick icon right below this window. You can see under the numbers, you can see an arrow button right below right hand side section. And this can help you to format the values in an appropriate manner. So I have selected the custom option and selected this comma separation because currently the numbers are being displayed in this form. As an example, if I'm putting a comma, you can clearly see the numbers are getting divided by 1000. Instead of me getting those numbers being read, which is problematic in many of the situations. Okay, give me a second. So I'm trying to put a K there. K means rather than having a lengthy number being communicated into my Scrum calls saying that 5,000, this and that number, I can simply say that 500,000. So that way it is more presentable and more communicable. I hope this makes sense. But at the back of the day, I mean at the back end, this number is originally the same what it has been right there. I hope that makes sense. So Zahida is having a question, logic for counting the number of days. So Zahida, there is no as such a logic. Microsoft as a company has picked up because it has been a pioneer company. So it has started getting the days being counted from 1900. To get you the better clarity about your question, if you have been dealing with the latest softwares like R or Python, the dates in those softwares would be counted from the days number of days starting from 1970, 1st Jan 1970. So there is no as such a typical mathematical logic or some other astronomical number. It is just like the convenience. Microsoft has been there since decades and decades. So is the reason to keep the data being right from the centuries ahead. So 1900 as a benchmark number they have picked up. That's it. It is just a cutoff benchmark number to make the calculations being more handy, easy, and understandable. Okay. So let me help you to understand the date. So you guys can practice out that date conditional formatting, guys. So just select this date, go to the conditional formatting. I want to customize it. So fundamentally, DD stands for 3 days, MM is for month, and YY is for year. This is how the traditional regular number looks like. Maybe you guys can select and go on up to this part. If you will change that DD, like the way I'm doing it, 3D will turn it to Sunday. If I'll keep 4D, it will give you the complete Sunday, SUNDAY. So that depends on how you want to play around with that. Suppose if it is two letters 11, if I would keep MMM, it would be November NOV. If it would be like this, then it will turn out to be November. So you can play around with that logic. Like suppose I want to keep that Sunday under that square bracket. So I can have it like this. So that way I am customizing the date the way it should be visible to me. I hope it is clear now. Can you all try that quickly? So with that way, I have been helping you to understand the concept of general formatting, conditional formatting, and customized formatting. You guys can quickly take a look on the date to customize that. All you have to do is select any date, go on this arrow, go to the customize and play around with that. Double D, triple D, double M, triple M, 4 times M, change the placements, alignments, position, and everything right there. Okay, go on. So I'm not getting anything new being covered as of now. I'm all open for all the doubts, questions, concerns you have. Starting with you, Chinmay. If you are able to do that, well and good. If not, then I can help you out with your queries and my other friends, whosoever has been waiting for the doubt discussions. Over to you now for the last 5 minutes. Okay, I'll do that again. So select any number range, go to the custom. Okay, put a comma. So select this hashtag, comma, hashtag, hashtag, and some numbers afterward. Comma will help you to divide that number with 1000. Put a space, keep that square bracket, round bracket, put a K and this. So one comma is actually dividing the number by 1000. This is how the Excel has been created. So is the reason I am marking that to read it correctly, that it is now 512,000 as a number right there. Okay. So click on that number one step, go on to the custom number two step, select this piece, third, put a comma, fourth, and put a K, fifth. Make sure that you guys are all following the 5 steps. Here is a file which I have placed and kept for you called sample superstore XLS. This is the file which is there on Google as well. All you have to type is the sample superstore dataset. The moment you will type that sample superstore dataset, you will get the very first link, and this link is coming and belongs to the Tableau community. Tableau is a software for data visualization. This is a dummy demonstrative dataset created by the Tableau community for the across the globe standard training and development purpose. Considering the relevance and the kind of variety it offers, because it is a retail kind of data, think it like something you are ordering on Amazon or Flipkart, or maybe you are having the in-person purchase at Walmart. So it's a transactional data, order label. There are a couple of reasons why I'm discussing this, looking for the implementations of the various things what we are discussing so far. So this problem statement is going to be definitely helping you a lot to understand the way how we can implement each of those things, whatever we are discussing so far. So everyone, please download this file either from the Tableau community. If you are downloading that from the Tableau community, it would be an updated version because every year this is being updated. Could be a possibility that the file you have right there on this drive, what I shared with you, might be a little bit older version. So don't get worried in terms of the data or the year in case your versions are not matching with each other. Everyone just please download this file into your local system and open it right away. In case if you have downloaded this file, I will help you to understand the way the data looks like, and then I will leave it to you with the problem statement. I will continue discussing my topics and sticking to the agenda. And you need to think about the way those topics, what we are going to be discussing, can be applied to those places. So in this sample superstore file, there are 3 sheets: order sheet, return, people. I hope each one of you is able to access them. Order sheet is the data about the various customers have placed various orders in a given interval. When I say various customers means, suppose if you look into that place, you have one lady as a customer name called Brosina Hoffman. So she has placed multiple orders over a period of time. That way, multiple users have multiple transactions. Like the way Srinivas, Tammy, Zahida, me, or Hiren, or Deepti, or Gauri can have the multiple transactions. So we are multiple folks, multiple customers have multiple transactions. So this is what the order level data looks like. Second sheet in this tab, in this Excel file is the return sheet. Return sheet is typically those orders which got returned over a period of time. Suppose if you have ordered something on Amazon and you have placed an order with the product P1, P2, P3. So the record of these orders, all three orders would be there in the order sheet. And for some reason, if you have returned the order P2, it will be then captured under the return sheet. Is that all clear to everyone, guys, how this data looks like? Maybe you can take 30 seconds to go through with this data or the whole file. You are already aware with the shortcuts, so I don't really need to tell you. Like if I would have been at your place, I am clicking on that A1 and then simply using Shift Control and right word key and then getting a quick sense that there are 21 columns. I hope you are getting my point that way. So you can navigate through with this sheet, and once you would realize that fact, there are 21 columns and 9,994 records or rows are there. And now I think Zahida, I mean, you were asking for the way how we can use those areas we have been learning and discussing, right? So because this sheet is too lengthy and too long, but still rather than, moving my cursor one after the another, I can quickly get a sense that, okay, Shift Control downward arrow, 9,995 records are there. And Shift Control and rightward key, 21 columns are there. So I would strongly suggest and recommend each one of you to go through with the recorded sessions without miss. That is gonna be one of the most important thing and the area you need to be really, really very strict and serious about. Otherwise, if you are missing the sessions, then it would be a trouble every now and then. Okay. So you would find that file in the G drive in the very same way. This is a file which contains those shortcuts plus the recorded sessions as the complete walkthrough. Now, everyone, please go through with that sheet, go through with each of these columns. I would like you to spend some 30 seconds over these columns because I'm going to be giving you a problem statement, a kind of use case where you are required to be really handy and familiar with the data, how it looks like. So I just want you to get a sense that, okay, there is a row ID. Order ID means the ID of the order, the date on which the order was being placed, shipment date, mode of the shipment, customer ID, name of the customer, segment in which the product was being ordered, country, city, state, and some other columns. So please spend 50 seconds over that before I give you the problem statement, and then I will move further with the topics for the class today. And those topics is going to be a part of the solution as well in a larger picture. And I would leave with this activity as DIY, do it yourself or with you, by you, for you activity. And we will be solving it all together collectively with your inputs. Over to you guys. So the problem statement for you guys looks like using the sample superstore file, what you have been going through with that now. You have to create a summary report where you need to tell me that what is the total returned value of each year and each segment. This is going to be the first stepping stone for you to get into the world of analytics. Understanding this problem statement is also a matter of, or is also a part of your learning. Kindly spend some time don't really get back or rely on me that Ankur, what we really need to work upon. You already have the data. What I'm asking is right there on your screen. Spend some time to understand what you have to do. In case if you are unable to crack that idea, even what you need to really work upon, it's not just a matter of how you have to really work upon, but what you need to do is important, guys. So try to attempt that sense, what you need to do. In case if you are unable to fix it up, then I will help you. So there are two steps. What you need to do is important and how you need to do is important. And you need to really command these two areas altogether. And I'm pretty sure with that exercise, you will really get a sense of how the analytics works like. What do you really mean by analytics or reporting? How that Excel helps in the day in and day out reporting. So this is actually a wonderful exercise for you to get started with. So I'm giving you 50 seconds. Live with the data. Try to read the problem statement and get yourself comfortable with that. And then I move forward with the upcoming topics. Over to you guys. Hiren, I'm not sure. You can better suggest what ideally you should be looking for. What you are asking is an absolute brilliant question. I think you can better tell me what ideally I should be focused upon. So for me, suppose I'll take an example here. So return value means whatever suppose you have ordered the product one that cost you $100, product two that cost you $50, product three that cost you $80, right? And for some reason you are returning the product P2. So obviously the returned value would be equivalent to what you have been paying up earlier, right? So I'm moving forward. So first of all, let us see how to filter the data. I'm probably Zahida and my other friends, you know how to, do the formatting, right? Like I can paint it in a color so that I can visualize that these are the headers. I hope you're getting my point. If you double click it, right, if you center click it right away and click it here, this can be better adjusted with the extensions like alignment. You can do the central alignment. Whatever the way you want to see that file, you can do the cosmetics. So this is what the file is there for me. Order sheet is there, 21 columns and 90,000, I mean, 9994 records. I'm explaining you the way filter. Filter can be applied using that icon on your screen, or you can also use a shortcut called. So you have to select the whole range of the column. Suppose there are 21 columns. So I have selected this first row, highlighting the headers, and then I can hit Shift Control L. Shift plus Control plus L is the shortcut to apply the filters, or you could have used that shortcut you could have used that graphical user interface to apply the filter as. Once you have applied the filter, you can really focus on the required portion. Every kind of column helps you to filter the data. If it is a character column, then you can do some filtering according to the characters. If it is a numeric column, then you can do the filters according to the numeric values. Suppose I want to apply some filters on the numbers, then some default values are like you want to put some less than, greater than, average, below average, and so on. Suppose I want to get through with only those records which is above the average sales. So this will be giving me only those sales which is above the average overall. You can remove the filter, clear filter, the one which I have just placed it right away. Same way. So all the numeric related capabilities in terms of the filter would be applicable automatically on the numeric column. If it is a character column, then some character abilities would be there. Like the way you can see text filters, whether it contains a particular keyword or not, or so on. Suppose maybe I would say phone. Okay, let me put phone, phone, phone. So all those entries which is having a keyword phone in that would be filtered out. Can you see that? Phone, 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 phone. So this is how this filter works. Not only in terms of the text, if you have some colors, right? Suppose I have, so you remember conditional formatting, right? So this is where the colors also helps you. And that is why we have been using these things a lot. Sorry. So you can do the color filtering as well. Suppose I would be focusing only those one which is red because I want to see who are those stores which is giving me the poor sales. So maybe I can target that red ones only. Okay. So this way filter can really be helpful in some way or the another. I hope this makes sense, guys. Everyone, is that okay? 3 years before, there is a quick commerce company. In India, I'm not sure whether in USA it's a quick commerce is being penetrated or not. So in India, there are 3 or 4 major players as of now who can deliver the product at your doorstep just in 10 minutes time when you are ordering them. And that's a wonderful future company. So I'll tell you my story. There has been a quick commerce company who has been growing in leaps and bounds. And one of my ex-director of my previous company came into the director or the board member or stakeholder in that quick commerce company 2 years before. He was in a very good relationship with me. He understands my in and out data science and other skills, how good I am with the machine learning, deep learning, and the other area and all, because I have been doing these kind of analysis in so long. So we had a conversation. I asked, okay, sir, is there any kind of opportunity? Or he asked, Ankur, why don't you join us and all? So he gave me he talked about, okay, Ankur, I'll pull out a role of a growth manager, analytics growth or growth manager kind of thing. Okay, my role was to look into the data. So that earlier there was no such a designation or a kind of position or a vacancy, but especially for me, he said that, Ankur, if you'll join us, then I'll get a new kind of role for you. That is a growth manager. Okay, I said. So he haven't asked me anything because he was aware of all the things what I'm comfortable with. So he just gave me his 1 year data of the business, the transactional data, exactly like the way you have the order data. And he said that, Ankur, share the insights, whatever you can share with us. That's what he gave it to me. I'll find that in my laptop if that file is available, but you won't believe that I spent a month on the whole 1 year transactional data. It was a huge data. And the kind of valuable insights which I have developed, created out of that. My manager was spellbound. Okay, Ankur, we haven't really seen such kind of insights from our data, and this is going to be really, really helpful in terms of, in a lot of the areas, be it for the sales enhancements, for the kind of optimizing their delivery expenses, the other areas. So I have really worked a lot over a month, and then because he haven't given any kind of goal and objective. I hope you're getting my point. There was no goal, there was no objective. He just have given me the 1 year data. That's it, full stop. No instruction, no command. So I was just looking into the data from all the lenses, thought of the company's operations, and then gave him the insights from all these spectrums, fraud control. And you won't believe that I have been helping that with the fraud from all the partners. Like, who are all the customers who are doing the fraud for you? Who are the delivery partners who are doing the fraud with you? And what are the merchants who are doing the fraud for you? So this kind of investigations I have done from all the data points. So with that way, I think you got the answer that how these things and these kind of analysis works. I hope this answers everything now, online friends. Okay, I mean, this is an ongoing conversation. It's an endless conversation. I would love to discuss that more. Most of your queries would be resolved automatically. But I mean, let me first of all move forward with the given agenda and the topic. Then I'm more than happy, guys. I'm emotional with these kind of conversations, honestly. I mean, time really wipes away when I start discussing all of these things. So don't worry. I have truckloads of such conversations, and you can definitely take much interesting insights out of it. All right. So filtering is done, right? I hope you guys are done with that. So now let me help you to understand the concept of pivot table. Pivot table is one of the most important, interesting, valuable, and frequently used concept or a feature in Microsoft Excel. The whole idea of the whole reason behind the popularity of Microsoft Excel for the MIS, that is Management Information System, or for the reporting areas is because of this one breakthrough feature called pivot table. What is pivot table? Pivot table is a kind of summary table. With the help of it, you can group, aggregate, and summarize the data. Summarize the data means, suppose I have 10 folks in this batch. How many of them are male? How many of them are female? The average salary of male and average salary of female. So that means I'm aggregating and summarizing, grouping and aggregating kind of thing. So sum, count, min, max, average, and all such kind of mathematical features can be pulled down. Average, max, min, median, sum, count, total, this kind of thing can be worked upon. And that is where pivot table helps you a lot. It is one of the most critical, important, widely used, commonly used, frequently used feature in Microsoft Excel. You can't really avoid or afford to miss that. Let me help you to understand that concept. Suppose I am there in my order sheet data itself. Pivot table can be pulled or can be created with the drag and down menu option with the pivot table keyword under the insert keyword. So first you have to go to insert and then go to pivot table. You have to select the whole data. How you can select the whole data? You are aware of the shortcuts, shift, control, and that. So that way you can click on that. Click OK. Or you can use a shortcut like the way I always use called Alt plus N plus V plus T. You can write it down. You can also download the cheat sheets for the shortcuts for all such keywords and the areas. In fact, I have that with me. Now, once this kind of layout is visible on your screen, it would be popped up into a new sheet. And this is a drag and drop kind of feature. You will see all the columns being listed out here, with the help of which you can play around. There are 4 quadrants: column, row, the values, and the filter. Depending on the kind of layout and the kind of summary I want to create, I can drag and drop my columns to those various quadrants to get the required inputs. I'll show you some basic things and then you will get the sense of how to get through with this idea. Suppose I want to see the countries wise. So country is USA. So state wise sales. So for that, I have kept state in my row label. And because I want to see the sales, aggregated sales, right? So sales column, I'm dropping into the values. By default, in most of the cases, it will be coming out to be a sum, which is the total. But you can also change that. How you can change that is important for you to note down. If you'll hover your mouse and click that, there comes a field called value field settings. I can change the settings. By default, it is sum. I can change it to count, average, max, min as well. Okay, let me show you. Suppose I am probably dropping this sales again. Why? Because I want to show you that. So I can change one of those such fields to count. So that way, I am now able to get that, okay, Alabama state has altogether 61 kind of transactions happen, giving you the total sales of this much. So this is like volume and value. You understand the keyword called volume and value, right? Volume is mostly the quantity or transactions. And so I'm giving you the real word number, okay, real word jargons. The whole word is always and always talking about volume and value. Volume is always about quantity or units and so on. So you can ignore that. I'm not here to explain you the business to a certain extent, but this is how the report looks like. Is that clear to everyone, guys? You can also enhance that report. Suppose if you want to see the segment-wise sales for all the states. So you can now put the segment at the column level, and that way now I have consumer, corporate, home. Let me ignore that. Okay, this somehow in some cases it's stuck, so you can click on that field list so as to bring that the pop-up again. I'm removing that count sales just to keep that conversation easy. Okay. So now with that way, you can clearly see I have the segment-wise sales for every state in USA. So I have that for consumer as one of the segment you have. I have that for corporate and home office. There comes also the grand total here column wise, and here also you will have that. If you want to change the layout, you can change it. So suppose I don't want that grand total in either of the sides, right? So here also I have the grand total at the bottom for the whole row. So if you want to change that, you can definitely play around. See the subtotals, grand totals, off for both row and column, off for only row, off for only column. So you can definitely decide that. As of now, I don't want the sum or the grand total for both rows and columns. So this is now gone. So with that way, you can clearly see I have the state-wise sales. So segment-wise sales for all these states. I hope this is clear. Can you all try to create that right away along with me? Segment-wise sales for all the states. All right, guys. So then in this case, if you'll just drop into that, pivot table has a separate sorting option, sorting keyword. So the sorting you can see right here is not going to be working here anymore because this sorting is for the original Excel table data. It's not going to be working here. For this sorting, you have to, okay, so yeah, it is fine because it is in between that section. That's fine. So this can be worked, but otherwise you can also sort that here as well, right? Largest to smallest and all. So suppose this is how the sales looks like. I can keep that into the particular order, largest sales being at the top. You can also remove the decimals and all. So this can be worked upon accordingly. Clear to everyone? So I would like you to get the segment-wise sales for all the years. Sorry, not years. For all the states I was talking about, right? Can you all do that? This is the first problem statement. Second problem statement is get the average profit, not average profit, average sales and total profit of each category. Category is actually a column for you. Okay. Get the average sales and total profit for each category. Next immediate topic which we are going to be discussing is your function. Okay. So if you look into the second sheet, you have some kind of items for the practice part. which you guys are required to work upon. So when you will open the sheet called Excel Module 2 from your G drive, this comes with the pivot table. There are 4 questions for the practice part. You are required to work on that. I am now going to be helping you with the concept of VLOOKUP. I will make it simple for you, help you to understand the fundamental idea behind that. VLOOKUP is one of the most interesting, most required, commonly used feature with the help of which we can trace VLOOKUP is used to trace or retrieve the value of one column, or I can say one or more than one column. This is a simplistic layman terminology I'm sharing with you. It's not being followed by any text, bookish definition. Just to keep it more simple is what I'm writing there for you. So VLOOKUP is used to trace or find, or I can say find, just to make it more simple. Find, trace, retrieve the value of one or more than one column from one table, okay, to another table. So the basic idea behind this VLOOKUP is to really pull the data from one table to the another table. This is where the VLOOKUP comes, to connect the two tables. I hope this is clear, guys. This is where the VLOOKUP comes in. VLOOKUP is used to find the value of one or more than one column from one table to another table. Basis on what? Basis on the common variable or columns matched value. So the keyword is matched value. Kindly read that line for me, and then I'll give you the layman example for that, and then we'll move forward. I am the owner of a company or a business head, and my sales manager mentioned that these are the customers, like customer C2, C4, and C5. These are the 3 customers who gave me the maximum business last year. Think about the business idea and the context before you get into the technicals. I'm repeating it again. Assume that these are the 3 customers which are being reported by your business manager or analytics manager, that these are the customers who gave you the largest business in the last year. These are the most loyal customers and blah, blah, blah. So as a part of the customer engagement activity, retention activity, or some other loyalty programs, you want to reach out to these customers in a certain specific manner, or want to make them feel special towards your organization, right? And how you can give them some value addition. Maybe you are looking to give some discount, some free parking, some gift hamper, some birthday voucher, some free bouquets on their addresses or email IDs. I hope you are getting my point. Question is from where you can get, or how you can get the records. So suppose there is a master table, just assume, okay? There is a central repository of the data, master data or master table, where I have the customer ID. Its name is there, already recorded, age, location, address, and email ID. I have all these informations being stored somewhere in my database. That could be an Excel file or a SQL database and something, something, something. I hope you're getting my point, everyone. Just some dummy numbers I'm passing there, and assume that you have this kind of data there in your system. Now, the whole approach of getting the required address and email ID only for the C2 as a customer ID C2, C4 and C5 from this table to this table is gonna be done with the VLOOKUP as a function. Is that use case, application and problem statement clear, guys? How we can do that is now I am telling to you. VLOOKUP application is little bit complicated. If you want, you can create these two dummy tables for the better learning. Can you all quickly create that, everyone? Maybe I can keep that for you guys. Let's do one thing. Under the index tab, I have kept this file. Okay, everyone, you can open the module 2 and under the index tab, I have kept this data. Can you all please use that right away? So when you will look into that definition in the most layman and simplistic term I have written, you will find that it is absolutely correct, word by word, line by line. It is helping me to find the address, the value of address and the email for these many customers from this table to this table based on the combination of the common column, like customer ID here. Customer ID here is a connecting column. Kindly listen to me carefully, because if you are a first timer here with the VLOOKUP, you may have some little apprehensions to take that. Is the reason I'm saying that it will need practice couple of the times. So I'm writing it again. You need practice. Even though if you are successfully able to implement that today, not an issue. Tomorrow I'm guaranteeing that you will be forgetting it if you are a first timer. VLOOKUP is a function name. You have to pass on the first argument, which is like asking you for the value, means I want to see this value. Then it asks for the second argument as table array, means in which table you want to see that value. For me, this is the whole range of the table, because I don't want to get my values being shuffled. So I have to freeze that. You remember the conversation yesterday, F4? Because when I'll copy paste that function in the lower rows, it should not be shaken up. Third argument is the column index. This is going to be an interesting call for you. Column index means the positional placement of the column. Indexing is a keyword which you will be keeping on hearing again and again in the various other documents, in the other tools as well. By position, this is first, this is second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth column. And because I am looking to get the address, so address is going to be which column, guys? Fifth column. So I will pass on 5 there. Then again, it's an optional one. Whether you want to have the exact match of the string like C2 or the appropriate match. Most of the cases, 99% of the times, you will go for the false, that is exact match. So now you can clearly see as a wow factor that in front of C2, I am getting only the address of C2, not for anything else. Because of this kind of feature, VLOOKUP is a turnaround story in Excel. Clear to everyone, guys? VLOOKUP as a function name, because I want to get the customer ID C2's address. So this value I want to look up. Look up means I want to check the value for this C2. So this is the first argument called lookup value, then comma. Now it is asking me the table array. Table array means the source from where you need to pull out the value. So this is going to be the whole table. I'm freezing it because I have to copy paste that function to several other rows as well. And I don't want to get my source locations being changed. So this is the second argument. Third argument is asking me which column value, which column's numbers value you want to pull out. So as like what I told you, this is the first column positionally, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, this is fifth, this is sixth. So potentially here I want to have the fifth number. So I'll pass on 5 and exact match, because string wise exact match I want to pass on, and here you go. And see the magic, in front of C2 you are getting the address of C2, in front of C4 you are getting the address of C4 only, not for anything else. Clear? That's the beauty. Same way, because email ID is the then changing it to 6 then. So B11, then the whole table, but now the sixth column. I hope this is done, everyone. Moving forward with the business problem statement, let me help you to get this work with you. Kindly listen and follow me carefully because repeating it again would be more like reinventing the wheel, and because it's a long conversation, so doing that again for the separate ones would be really a challenging call. Okay, so kindly please follow me. Otherwise, it is going to be a missed call or gone chance, and probably you have to then follow the recorded sessions. Now, in this case, if you look into the problem statement, I have been asking for finding the total returned value, the product, the amount of the product which got returned. Fine. For each year and each segment. Let me see what kind of columns I have in the order sheet. So because I want to have the segment, so let me mark the segment because it's a targeted one I'm looking for. So I need segment for sure. But unfortunately, there is no year. We are discussing about this problem statement where you are required to find the total return value for each year and each segment. Fortunately, I have the segment, but I don't see any column called year in my existing data. So the question is how we can get the year being pulled off. And this can be done with several ways. There are going to be some functions, date and time functions we have already read there. I could have used the character functions as well, which is what we're going to be discussing that in detail. But suppose you already have the date, like order date and shipment date, basis on which I can pull out the year as a new column. Does that make sense? So for some of you, it might be getting that into a date format. Don't get worried because your format could be a date there, and you know date is actually a date format, but eventually you want to have it a number. So here you have it, not currency, it's a number. Okay, so this is a kind of new column I am able to retrieve. Best is to copy and paste that. Don't really keep the formulas in the Excel file and keep it as a value. So Alt paste special mein, Alt ESV is a shortcut for that. V as in paste as a value, because if you leave that formulas behind, like the way you have it formula, Excel file will become heavy, and also some values might be getting changed every now and then because of some other calculations and so. So I always make sure that I'm removing the formulas behind, copy and pasting it as a value then. Now you can see it's gone. Formulas are gone. So I want to have this column here. And I also want that order ID. Why order ID? Because order ID is going to be the common column between the two tables to be connected with. Because this also contains the order ID. Because I wanted to have the return value, value as in what you are paying to order that amount is what you're going to be returned. So I want to have that sales as a column as well, correct? So long story short, my dear friends, all I want you to understand here is that the yellow highlighted columns are the one which I typically requires to get along with this problem statement. Rest of them are useless column, which is there for you to get confused unnecessarily. So for me, if I will have to get this job done for you, I will first clean my data. I will remove all my things which is unnecessarily disturbing me. So I'm deleting these columns. How to delete them is what you have learned then into the shortcuts earlier in the very first class. I don't want to tell you again. Control minus is a shortcut for that. Without going into the exceptions, what Ankur one order here and 3 or 4 different order IDs are there. In a easiest, most fashion, those exceptions could be business specific in one way or the another. Now, the point is that these are the order IDs which got returned. If you will go into the very layman terms without understanding and getting into the business exceptions, the point is to get the the year, the segment, and the amount which is what you paid to place an order with, right? Correct or not, guys? Because these are the orders which got returned eventually. So, I mean, this return as a column is useless because when you will look into the filter, everything is yes. So useless column, I'm deleting it right away. A long story short, you want to have year, segment, and sales from one table to another table, correct? We look up and I have to check on this value into this table. So I have to pass on the whole range. Maybe you can give that sense of the columns as well. You can go in that way. Let me freeze that for you guys. And what would be the index? I think year is going to be the second column there. And exact match is 0. Here you go. Congratulations, guys. I usually have a tendency to copy paste it once and then to copy paste it for the other areas. This is your segment, not a segment, sorry. What happened? Okay, I have to keep it like 3. This is your segment, and this is gonna be your fourth is your sales amount. Wonderful. And then I can freely copy paste that. Double click also helps you. Wonderful, guys. Now you are done. I think I should copy paste it further. Oh, I'm 3 minutes away ahead of the time. Now what I have to do? I have to VLOOKUP, right? Oh, sorry, not VLOOKUP. I have to just pivot that. I am copy pasting it as a values just to avoid some functions, and Alt N plus E plus T. Here comes my, okay, my shortcuts are not working. Pulling my pivot table, year, segment, sales, bang on. Congratulations, guys. You're too good. Clear to everyone? You can try that out right away. The way the table looks like could be, you can format that little bit. Alt ESV as a value, paste it right there. And this is your year. And this is your segment. Don't get confused, guys. Don't get confused. It was just a matter of telling you that how the typical industry standard way looks like, how I could have worked for you. If you don't want to get into the confusion of why I'm deleting that, and if I'm deleting that, how come this is helping you? So my thing is like, I have been, first of all, creating that year column, first thing. Second, pasting it as values. So functions behind that, dependency of that order date column is gone from the second step. And then I was deleting the other columns. I hope this is clear now. So you can see the formulas are right there. Don't worry. I mean, all you have to do is just try to do that on your own. That is ideally the way. I'm pretty sure you must be knowing what the sorting is. If not, then also it's not a big issue and a challenge for me. Consciously, subconsciously, we have been knowing what the sorting is all about. So let me start my discussion today with the keyword called sorting. Sorting is absolutely important. So let us close this topic once and for all for everyone right away, right now. Because going down the line, we probably have to discuss that in SQL as well, in Python as well. So my expectation is that as far as the fundamental idea is concerned, let's close this now so that we don't really need to repeat that, reinvent the wheel again and again on SQL and Python just to understand the concept. How to do the sorting in SQL is what my focus area would be. I hope it is clear. Not about what is sorting. So I am not going to be concerned with what is sorting going down the line. Is that clear to everyone, guys? So during those upcoming modules, my entire focus would be, because I'm not taking that module to module individually. My approach is more of a blended one. Let us talk about what, why, and how right away in Excel, so that what why is going to be replicated in the upcoming modules. This is what my whole understanding is. So sorting is nothing but ordering the data in ascending or descending order. Ordering the data in ascending or descending. When I say ascending or descending, one way or the another, you guys can call it like increasing or decreasing. Same thing. Don't get confused. That is first thing. Numerically, it is always 1 to n. If it is a number, numeric column. If it is a character column, the increasing order would be always from A to Z alphabetically. I hope this is crystal clear. First thing. I am pretty sure each one of you must be knowing it, but the another important aspect of sorting, which I would probably ask you to stick, is like you can or you may be required to sort the data on more than one column. This is interesting. 95% of you might be knowing it, what I'm saying or what I'm trying to convey, but the whole sole point is that you may be required to sort the data on more than one column as well. What does that really means? So suppose I am saying only on one column or more than one column. Example would be, suppose I have the HR data on my screen. This way I will be showing you right away. Sorting the data based on salary. So you would be just sorting or rearranging the data based on the salary, either in increasing order or decreasing order. Highest would be at the top or lowest would be at the top given the situation there. If it is more than one column, the problem statement might be sort the data where salary is sorted, salary in decreasing order or increasing order for each gender or maybe whatever you have it, like suppose team or department. Because it's an HR data, I'll have the departments as well, I'll show you. So department as an HR department. Okay, so Tammy is already there, right? So Tammy, you can probably support this. So HR department, admin department, finance department, support, supply chain management department, multiple departments could be there. So salary has to be sorted in decreasing order, highest to be at the top and low, but not in a whole soul data altogether, but on the basis of each department. So here the call is that you have to sort the data on department first, and then for every department, think about it, what I'm saying. It is like salary is gonna be the subset, second column followed up with the department. So department is gonna be the first one, where for every department you will be sorting the data in decreasing or ascending order. If I have to put the right context about that, in India it is very famous, but in the other countries, casinos and all, you must all be knowing the cards we play, right? 52 deck cards, everyone knows that, correct? If you will simply understand that whole analogy from the cards we play, we have 52 cards and there are two colors. One is the red color and another one is the black color. So I'm using that black as this one and red as this one. So indirectly, I am saying that you are sorting the data first of all on the basis of color, because you keep all the black ones at the one side and all the red ones on the another side of the hand. Is that correct or not, guys? So you are sorting the data, sorting the cards on the basis of color first, which is a categorical column, which is a character form. And within that, you are further sorting that on the basis of colors and the form, like what we call it, like anyone can name that, I'm forgetting it, spade or what, club and spade, right guys? Club and spade. Then within that red further, you are sorting it technically on the basis of heart and diamond, if I'm not wrong to remember it, heart or brick or heart or diamond, whatever you call it. So in some cases we do call it like a brick. And then further, so point is that second column is you are putting that on the basis of what we call it, like groups bolte hain, what should I be calling it, like spade color isko, I mean, should I be calling it as a group or what, category, right? Let me put it like category. And third comes the number. When I say number, you keep that card in the descending order, like king, then comes queen, then comes jack, then comes 10, then comes 9, and so on. So that is like you are ordering that. If I put that into a proper fashion, like this or this, correct or not, guys? Third comes the numbers or the cards. So here you are sorting the data on three columns. Number one comes color. The point which I would like you to understand that within that color only the second column is being grouped or sorted. Within that color, you are having red, red, And within that red, further you are sorting that numbers like Jack, King, Queen, Jack, 10, 9, and so on. So I hope this analogy is clear, and this is a basic point. Most of you must be knowing it, but I just have repeated that because this comes tricky to many of you who has been absolutely new to the world of the data. Is that all clear, guys? I mean, simple. I can ask your salary on the basis of gender. Like, so I'll probably have the females. So females ka, I'll have a view where I have the salary highest, lowest, 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 and then male where highest, lowest, lowest, lowest. So this is how I would like you to probably figure it out. This is gonna be the lengthy data. Let me do one thing, guys. Don't probably try to repeat that, what I'm saying, but I am taking a random number for the sake of your clarity. Okay. You can also probably get this benefited with your learning. Don't probably ask me how I have been doing it. So because this is a lengthy data set where we have 2, 3, 6, 9 rows, I want something very smaller so that you guys can have every single thing being visible on your screen. So Excel is also used to prepare the data as well. So I'm simply using one of the basic function in Excel called random, which can have the random numbers in between 1 to 50. 100 से अगर divide करूँगा तो it would be giving me 2639 126. How many records? 26. ठीक है. So let me have that random number generated for 1 to 100. Why? Because I want to probably get 100 around or 50 odd rows. So this is how I will be selecting them randomly. So here I have been just simply getting that random numbers being generated, which will be in the range of 1 to 100. Okay, now you would see that I am freezing them out. Control C and Alt ESV, that is space spatial, putting that as value so that my numbers are freeze now. And then I'm putting a filter. Why? Because I just want to have only few limited records. I hope this is clear now, guys. So with that way, you can see I am able to select somewhere close to 41 records out of 2631. So the whole approach is to bring the lesser data, which can be there on your screen right away. Is that all clear what I'm doing? This is not a part of your activity, but still I'm explaining you just in case if you're interested to know, Ankur, what you are doing and why you are doing. The approach is because once you would be there in the field of analytics, you might be required to go through with all such cases where you have to probably pick up the smaller data set, right, out of the bigger one. So here you go. I have a data set which I'm going to be sharing with you where I have the HR related fields, HR employee data set where first name is there, last name, gender, date of joining, current date, designation, age, salary, unit, and all. It is always and always better for you to take a look into the way the column and the various categories looks like. Like if I'm in a designation, so I have analyst, associate, manager, and senior analyst. If I look into the units, I have finance, IT, management, marketing, and operations. Such units are there. So you should be able to understand the data. I'll talk about that field separately. So I'm also focusing you to think about a keyword called EDA. EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. It is a matter of understanding the data. Okay, making friendship with the data. It is a matter of understanding the data so that you can deal it in a better way. But I don't think so. I will be giving that the trimmed one. I'll be sharing that the larger one. Okay. You can probably pull out the random numbers out of it just because I have been doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Now think about what I'm saying. Let me probably make it more simple and easy so that you guys can focus it. So everyone knows the shortcut, right? You guys know the shortcut. So I'm doing Control X, cutting them down and doing that Shift Control plus. So you guys can see earlier these two columns were there on the left. Now I have kept them on this side. So take a look into that. I'm highlighting that for a better clarity. Focus them first, okay? These are the values which is being randomly visible to you, okay, randomly. So I have the unit, the designation, age, and salary. Lovely. First of all, let me explain you what I'm trying you to understand. So here we have 41 rows. Okay. So suppose I want to get the data sorted on salary. So first problem statement is sort the data on salary on the basis of salary in A increasing and B is decreasing, both cases. So how to do that? It's fairly simple. You have that sorting option. Maybe you can select this column, go to select the sorting filter. It's on home button, and then put a sort, smallest to largest, largest to smallest. It's like increasing and decreasing, whatever the way you want to have it. I want to have it in like the decreasing order, let us suppose. Okay. Now this is a major call for you. Expand the selection or continue with the current selection. This is important for you to know, guys. Excel, though it is not a table, Excel, as I told you in the very first session, it's a spreadsheet, but the kind of layout, the kind of data you are playing is a typical tabular data, and you should be considering it like a organized structure. It's a tabular data. This particular age is obviously for Anna Lucille. This age and this salary is obviously for Ankram Mavis. That means this is a whole single row as a one single entity. Think it like from the entity standpoint, correct or not? This is a whole row. This is a one complete row of a one particular person. So you can't really sort that data solely or in an isolated fashion individually. So if it is a table, most likely you have to select this one called expand selection because it's a table. I hope this is clear. And when I say table means if this is going to be on the top, this whole set of the entries will be there at the top. It's not like that this only cell is there and rest of them are same. Otherwise, that would be a big trouble, isn't it so, guys? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Any girl whose name is X, suppose her gender is female, if you would be juggling the rows, that can turn out to be male later on, correct or not? I mean, that's a big trouble for sure. So, keeping that point in your mind, you have to be sticking with the basic call of what you are doing. In that perspective, sorting that, expand the selection. Yes, I want to move along with the rows. And here you go. I think I selected the uh, increasing order. Let me do this decreasing order. So this is a decreasing order where you can see the highest salary is right at the top and then salary is getting decreased. So this is one view. This is one single view. If you want to sort the data on more than one column, then you can select the custom sort, where you will have the choice of adding the entries. Okay, take a look into that. I can add the sections, suppose this one and this one. First of all, I want to suppose sort the data based on the, what is the column name I have, guys? Let me select the unit, then select the designation. Okay, and then I'll be selecting the salary. Now, in this case, the way how my data would be sorted is like for every unit and for every designation. That means within that unit also designation will be sorted. So unit is going to be the first column, and within that unit designations will be sorted, and within for each designation salary would be sorted. So let me call you. So A to Z means increasing alphabetically, and salary, let me put that in decreasing order. So here you go. So the final call would be like this way. You can clearly see what I would like you to understand here is that because there is a lot of analysts. So let me show you. Take a look into this way. Management is one group. Within that management, you have three categories: analyst, associate has been sorted, and senior analyst alphabetically. Correct or not, guys? And when you will look into that analyst, your salary is getting sorted. And same then gets repeated to marketing and some other ways, analyst, manager, and so on and so forth. I hope this is clear. So think it like this with the card wall example I was talking about, right? Am I clear with this? So the next action item would be the functions, that is character functions for you, okay? The idea is absolutely same. Those set of the functions which is helping you to deal with the character data. Like when I say character data, I have my name, that is Ankur Agarwal, and there is a function called left. If I want to pick up the left few characters, like 4 characters, so it is giving me only first 4 characters and so on and so forth. So this is what you're gonna be covering along with us. Let me pull out the right file, work file for you guys, and then so you guys can now move on to the Excel module 1. Let me see what you have on your space. Yeah, here you have it. Okay. Can you all see that functions underscore text? So these are all the functions which I feel that you can be comfortable with. It's not mandatory that you have to have an expert or you have to be an expert on all of these items, but just get a sense and a flair of what these functions stands for. And then I will get you through with an exercise which will help you to brainstorm certain things. Okay. So this is the same file and the data I have. Left, right, mid. Suppose I have my name. Here is that for you guys. Ankur Agarwal. Then left function, right function, and mid. Left function will help you to pick the n number of characters from the left hand side. Like this is a text which I want to target, and I want to get, let us suppose, 4 characters. So this will start counting the 4 characters from the left hand side and will give it to you. I hope this is crystal clear. I don't really need to repeat that because this is fairly simple, and obviously the same logic will be there for right. You're going to be passing on the text and I want to have 4 characters, let us suppose. So this is how my 4 character looks like. And when it comes to the mid function, mid is like, okay, all right. So mid function is going to be the one with the help of which you can pick up the characters, n number of characters from the middle. Now, obviously, it's a kind of a different thing. So you have to also get a sense, okay, how many characters you want to pick. So you have to pass on the character text first, then starting number. You can see the tab argument, starting number. That means you want to start from which place. Suppose I want to start from 1, 2, and 3 and I want to pick 3 characters, let us suppose, okay? Or maybe let us suppose 2 characters, just for the sake of difference. So this is gonna be giving me the 2 characters starting from the third position. So what is the output you are expecting, guys? So proper case, we'll convert that into a proper case, like camel case typically, okay? Proper case is nothing but a camel case, guys. Okay, you can see A now comes out to be the capital one. So this is your camel case. This is your upper and the lower case. I don't think so I need to tell you. Find is an interesting feature where it will help you to tell you where a particular character is located. Suppose in my name there is a comma. And for some reason, for some analytical reasons, I need to know this place where comma is situated. So find within text means which is the targeted text. Okay, so find which text. Find the text means which text you want to find. I want to find the comma. So put that whenever any keyword, any argument is mentioned in underscore text, you have to put that argument under the uh, inverted quotes, guys. Don't miss out this, okay? Then within text, which text? This one. It does also have an optional argument starting number because in a particular string, you can have more than 2 iterations or the availability so as to make sure that from where you want to start with, it is an optional many of the times, like I want to get started from the first position itself. So comma is at my 6th position. Then comes the trim. Trim helps you to avoid the issue of the spaces. Suppose I have lot of the spaces before and after the name. So you can clearly see that if I'll use the length function, guys, the length of this is going to be much more higher. Can you see that? Why? Can you see that? It is 41. Why? Because there are a lot of the spaces before, after, and in between the text. You getting it? So trim will help you to avoid that. And it's a very interesting one. So now you will be having the length equivalent to 13, right? The original one. I hope this makes sense, everyone. This is now trimmed out. So it has removed all these spaces from the beginning, middle, and end, and just kept only one delimiter or space, which is to differentiate or divert between the surname and the first name. So here is your call. I'm giving you 10 minutes time to go through with these functions. Avoid that value and ring for a moment. You will be unnecessarily confused because it is not that priority for me. So avoid these two functions for a moment. Okay, don't get messed up unnecessarily. Spend 10 minutes on that and let me see how much or how better you are able to relate that. So you have a name. From that, you have to find out the first name, which is Craig, Ramana, Florian, Christopher, Gina, last name, and the office name. So I'm giving you 10 minutes time separately. As a part of the lab activity, you have 10 minutes to cover that logic. And then I'm giving you 10 minutes time for this to be practiced upon. And then I will be helping you with this solution altogether. Am I clear, guys? Cool. This is going to be the analytical implementation, okay? This is how the data is to be worked upon. This is how you will get a sense, okay, I'm going to be using these things in this way or in this particular context. This is where the actual analytics lies. Because you have the pure text, you are pulling out first name, last name, but some logic is needed. So standard on few things are going to be work for you. So I have been demonstrating this idea using my name. You have now been expert of what is left, what is right, what is mid. So that means you have been absolutely aware, comfortable, convinced, and knows the in and out of these few functions. Everyone say yes or no, guys? And that is what I was trying you to understand, that their application and the complexity while applying them can vary. And this is an ever growing learning process. Like suppose I am working in the industry for past 15 years. It doesn't really mean that tomorrow something comes on my course or on my way to solve something in Excel, I might be knowing it. No, there are chances that I might not be able to do that on the fly. I also have to strive hard. I have to also do some kind of here and there hidden trials, navigations, Google, blah, blah, blah. Then only I can do that. So that's what I'm saying. It is not a matter of how learned you are. It is just a matter of how confident you are to use whatever you are learning with. Okay.
So here, when I try to left, it is asking the number of character. I didn't find the option of the delimiter comma.
Absolutely. That is where the logic is required. Okay. All I can probably give you a hint is that for all of these activities, you need to think, okay, I should be doing this and that. Think about the logic. Okay. What my point is that suppose, let me pull out that name. Okay. This is what you are asking for. So, okay. These are the names, right? And as a part of the activity, you are required to pull out the first name and the last name. And as a reference, the first name is Craig. Yes or no, guys? Let me make this. Okay, so sample superstores, I think we should start now so as to make your call a little bit more relieved. I mean, that could be a step one for you. At least you can start thinking. So I'm opening the file called sample superstore for you so that you can stick, or maybe I can discuss that right away here as well, but that would be a more detailed version. So this activity, you can take it as a step two, step one, or learning one, phase one, using the sample superstore. That is the reason I like that sample superstore data a lot. This is just a part and parcel of you guys being on learning stage. Let us take this as a reference. You guys can replicate that along with me. Okay. Everyone, what I'm doing is using the sample superstore data, and from that customer name, I would like you to pull out the first name and the last name from this very same file. I hope this is gonna be more easier job for you. Okay. Now in this case, what my dear friends are concerned and asking is like, okay, Ankur, with that left function, I can pull out that clear because I know that there are going to be 5 characters starting from left or maybe 6 characters, right? So that looks fine for me. But this logic is getting failed for, I mean, this is working fine for Darren to an extent, but getting failed for Scene or Brosina. Yes or no, guys? This is where the trouble is because these lengths are getting varied. I hope you are getting my point? Everyone? So
Yes,
this
sir.
is where the logic comes with. And when think it in a very layman form. Layman form is telling me if I'll see that from my naked eyes that first name is continued till the space comes in. Yes or no? This is my first name and how I am as a person, as my human being with my naked eyes is getting that this is a first name because there comes a space afterwards. Yes or no, guys? You can know where the space is coming because you just have learned the function called find. So my point is like, okay, boss, if I am keeping that logic being hard coded that it has to pick 6 character, then it is a trouble that it is working fine for Claire, but it is not working fine for Brosine. Yes or no, guys? Which means what? The 6 as a standard fixed number is not working. I have to make it flexible. And flexibility says me, my logic, my analytics says that, okay, I think my first name continues till the time the space comes. And you know very well where the space is, right? Everyone knows that where that space is. I can help you. Space, position, and you know that you can use find function. Find what I need to find. I need to find space in this place. Yeah, that's the 7th place. So, but you know that you have to not pick the space. You just have to pick right before. You have to end picking up the characters right before that space. Correct or not? So it is just a matter of rather than me passing 6 there, I think I can write the find function or I can create a separate function and can say that this minus this. So this is coming like, oh wow, wonderful. So now you can see what happened. So this is like absolutely Brosina. You're getting my point. Now it is up to you whether you want to write this find function right here itself or you want to keep it in a separate location because formally or informally how you want to take that. So that's where the logic comes in. Clear to everyone, guys? So in that Excel module 2, as you guys can see on your screen, in the function arrays, you have 2 functions named as sumif and countif. Technically, there are 4 functions. When I say sumif and countif, if it is a single thing, then it is sumif. If it is plural, then it is going to be sumif s and count if s. You guys can check it out putting a equals to symbol and see whether you guys are all able to see these 4 functions into your tag or not. Everyone, just quickly check it out. So by and large, we are focusing and going to be talking about the 4 functions now. That is sumif s, countif s. What this function is all about, let me help you. Whenever you want to count or add the values based on some conditions, because you guys can clearly see that it is sum if. If means what will be the value if a gender is female? Suppose there are, as of now, I would say 20 counts. So what is the count if the gender is female? So if I have to get that number out of this whole data for your batch, I will be using that count if. If your salary is also mentioned and if I want to get the salary on gender, that is female or male, then it is sum if. If it is more than 2 conditions like what is the salary if a gender is male and age of those male is greater than 35. So 2 conditions are there. So if it is 2 condition and you want to get some sum or total of it, then it is going to be sum if or count is count if. I hope this is clear what this function is all about, guys. Everyone clear with this? Okay, so I am now helping you to get through with this thing on my screen. And this exercise is beyond what you are learning in the sum effect countif. I am making sure that you are learning the whole discussion in the right spirit. So I will be telling you the sum if and countif in a specific manner, and then as a homework activity, I would be asking you to fill up that matrix. Why? What is the interest? What is the magic around that? There is gonna be a interesting brainstorming thing where you are gonna be required to understand the way you are required to freeze the row and the column so that you can copy paste the sum if and countif to fill up this whole matrix. Why? There is a condition of one column here, that is the network. If you will see the data, everyone just first of all quickly take a look into the data or the table you have right here. Can you all see that? On my screen also, you have the network, the type of the bill, the indicator, some MSA, and the amount submitted in a particular year. So the whole idea is that in this case, what is the count of those entries where the network is CNN? You can see the network is gonna be a CNN. Okay, network is CNN. Bill type is PH, that is like this one, and indicator is in. So what is the sum of such entries if you want to get that? To make your life easier, what I'm trying to say, you guys can also check it out. Let me put a filter and then you will get to know what I'm saying. So Shift Control and let me select the network being CCN, sorry. Okay, so this is all CCN. Within that, let me select the build type being only PH. It is by default PH, and indicator being only in. I hope you're getting my point. So these are the entries, and there are some, if I'll just use my Excel arrows and shortcuts, the total sum comes out to be 119111. Are you all getting it? So I want that number 119111 right here. You got my point? So that is the kind of sheet I am asking you to build up here. Is that problem statement clear to everyone, online friends? As of now, I have been quickly helping you to understand or doing the QC with the filters I am putting in, but you can directly do that with the functions called sumif and countif. I hope this is clear. So the problem statement may be, what is the count of those and of the entries where the network is CCN? Okay, let me make it a use case. What is the count where the network is CCN? Rather than having two conditions, let me give you a simple one condition, that count where the network is CCN. So if you have to get through with that, when you will see that there comes the total count being 9. Let me write that problem statement for you guys to cover up, okay? What is the total count of entries where network being CCN, okay? How many entries are there for CCN? You could have done that with a pivot table, but creating a pivot table is not, because it's a one-time activity and functions are copy pastable. I hope you're getting my point, correct? If you have to do that for multiple things, obviously you cannot create the pivot table for n number of different cases. You have to create n different pivot tables. So is the reason you're going to be using the functions for that. Now, coming back to that problem statement, I think you guys should be now able to drive me. I'm giving you 2 minutes time, everyone, and think about it, because it's going to be a fifth or sixth session now. I would also help you to understand the kind of input you should be passing on. So take a look into that function countif, take your call and tell me that which column I should be selecting for this or which entry I should be selecting this. I think you should now start getting me driven with your instructions. Is that clear to you guys? What I'm saying is, let me explain you. Suppose I want those entries or the count where the network is CCN. Okay, let me pull out that data separately. I'm copy pasting it to keep it more easy for you. Okay, this is where the data is, and I'm potentially talking about this problem statement for you guys. This function is a little bit exhaustive. Make sure that you are getting along with the conversation. So here you can see COUNTIF is there, which is asking you for the range. Range means what is the kind of coverage you want to have. I'm giving you the problem statement. What is the total sum of amount submitted? Okay, network being CCN. So there are a couple of things, guys. Number one, make sure that you are exploring some time on these steps. You as a learner and me as a trainer, it is impossible for us to probably take a look on every single thing and to practice about. So there are entries and I can remove the duplicates from that option. Okay. So that way, these are the unique entries now I have received. Okay. And there, rather than providing the hard-coded values, you can give the references to these cells. I hope this makes sense. So what you are doing is actually a project. This is how typically the industry is required you to work on Excel. And that's it. So you can now say that, boss, I want to count this comma, rather than now passing the CCN hard-coded, you have provided the range. Okay, and just copy paste the formula for the other entries. Here you are done with the project. Clear now? This is what the reporting is. Okay, reporting in the analytics word or the data analytics word. So SUMIF is gonna be the way where see that what it is asking you to punch on. In that SUMIF, you are required to pass on the whole range. A range means whether you should be passing on the table or what is a question here. All right, friends. So, because you guys are done with the SUMIF and COUNTIF, let me now spend some time over the interesting activities. This is going to be making your life much more fruitful and exciting altogether. So, first of all, get these three right away. Everyone, just please get that downloaded right away. These two projects, you will be doing that in SQL and Python as well. So, interesting part is that make sure that what you are doing, because sooner or later you have to do that in SQL and Python as well. So understand the business, understand focusing more on the visualization. So today's focus area would be on visualization, that is data visualization. And the reason why you have a gap is so that you can practice around all of these things and the topics core we have. And then once we will be moving forward with the projects and all, we will keep on using those things, whatever you are learning in bits and pieces here and there in the upcoming projects. I'll keep on using those areas in my projects with you or along with you. Okay. Right. Now, guys, one important thing, make sure that everyone is absolutely and closely aligned with me. Why? Though we are learning data visualization now in context of Excel, but somewhere and somehow I would also like you to be, I would also encourage you to be a little bit more proactive so that we guys can save our time accordingly in the upcoming modules. Because we're gonna be learning these things in Power BI as well. We're gonna be learning these things in the Python as a software as well, sooner or later. As a concept, data visualization will remain same as far as your chart, graphs, and the plots to be created is concerned. In any of those respective tools, it is just a matter of using those technical expertise. But focus on the fundamentals is my primary importance. What, why, how, data visualization, if you get the sense of it, I think we are very good with that. So with that note, today I will be getting you more closure with the way the various idea of data visualization considers and will help you to focus on some of these status, some of these specific charts and all. And then we will be taking it forward. Hope you guys have started practicing around all of these things. Am I correct? Hope you guys have already started looking into those areas. Data visualization is an interesting aspect of any of the tool. The way how I will be helping you to understand that is in a much more matured fashion, okay? My approach is going to be different. My approach is going to be helping you or think to look into the larger picture. Okay, we'll try to bring the larger picture about the data visualization. What is data visualization? A picture is worth more than 1,000 words. The creation of graphs, charts, plots, which can eventually lead for MIS reporting or dashboarding. So the creation of charts, graphs, and the plots, or the branch where you are. So creation of the charts, graphs, and the plot is what comes under the umbrella of data visualization, because a picture is worth of 1,000 words. The representation of the information in the form of charts, graphs, and the plots, it can involve representation, studying, creation, or interpretation of the information in the graphical manner. When I say graphical manner, means in the form of graphs, charts, and the plots, rather than studying the tabular data. So think it about like you have some tabular data, tabular as in table form. And to convert that tabular data into the form of graphs so that you can instantly get the insights out of that. And that is where the data visualization comes in. The way the study of those graphs helps you into the real world industry is like you can have the better sense of what it is being highlighted. You can better analyze those things. You can quickly get the relevant instances out of that, finding the pattern, trend, and so many other things in place. So that is where the data visualization helps you. Data visualization is the representation of the quantitative as in same thing, the tabular data, in the form of graphs, plots, and the charts, where you can highlight the milestones, patterns, some key areas. You can take out the inputs, can suggest the recommendations, and so on and so forth. As a professional working resource in the organization, you may have heard of thousands of the various charts. Many of you might have heard of something called Gantt. Many of you might have heard of the waterfall chart or Pareto chart. It is not just a matter of getting through with all of these charts. I will be sharing some of the insights with you. Let me show you in my deck. I can share that with you as a separate secondary analysis, but chart is all about getting through with these kind of layouts to represent the tabular data into the form of graphs, plots, and all. Each of those such charts have a different purpose, objective, and methodology to be created. You can have thousands of such charts being looked upon, like the way you guys can see on my screen. But here in this session today, rather than getting too much complicated with all of these things in the very first go, I would make sure that you have few things to be understood correctly. And once we will be having the core sessions of statistics further, at that time, you will have a better sense and the command on some other areas as well. So I'm helping you to kickstart with the word of data visualization in a much more consolidated fashion, and then it would be a matter of getting our journey forward. So long story short, there can be 1,000 different charts, graphs, and the plots But here the purpose is to get the better sense of all of these things. Hence, for the sake of getting your whole analytical understanding being more conceptualized, I have divided the overall base charts, regular frequently used charts into three categories for you. And trust me, guys, you're gonna be having the very comfortable and relevant learning experience out of it in a way that you're gonna be focusing on charts, not on the basis of the variety you have, but which chart is used for what purpose analytically. As this course stands for data analytics, every single thing what I'm articulating is giving you the purpose of the way analytically these things are being used. So long story short, my dear friends, with this understanding and conversation, we gonna be focusing on which chart is used for what purpose. So rather than helping you to get through with the various charts individually, I am gonna be helping you to understand the purpose why these charts are being used in the data world. So all the standard regular charts which we are using, I have categorized them into three buckets. Those charts which is helping you to find the relationship in between the two attributes, columns, or the groups. They are going to be the relationship charts like scatter plot, bar chart, column chart, line chart, or area chart. All of these charts are used to find the relationship. What is scatter plot, bar plot, column chart, line chart, area chart? We will be studying them step by step. Scatter chart is a chart which is being created in between the two columns, and those two columns are always and always numeric. As in, suppose my age, which is a number, and my salary, which is also a number. And you will be having multiple dots, and every dot represents one data point or a row there. Correct or not, Hirin? In that regard, suppose this dot is of Hirin, and this dot is of, let us suppose, me, Ankur Agarwal, and Hiren, what's your full name? Hiren Gohil, HG. Okay. With this chart, that is scatter plot, I can easily, first of all, detect the relationship of what we have in between age and the salary in the overall data, and can also get the insights accordingly. Like the insight as of now I can see is like, Hiren is having much lesser age than me, but still his CTC, his salary is way better than what I am earning because he is highly intelligent. Correct? Also, you can get the other insights. But long story short, scatter plot is a chart which is being created in between the two numeric columns. It could be age, salary, or maybe I can say, suppose how much money I'm putting in the marketing and how much sales I am getting out of it. So sales, marketing, obviously, if I'll keep on increasing my investment in the marketing budget, my sales will also be increased. Correct or not, guys? So that way you can see, okay, this is kind of relationship I am getting, that if I am increasing my marketing budget, my sales is also getting increased. So that way this scatter plot is helping you to get through with this. Same goes with the bar chart, column chart, line chart, or area chart. Now what is bar chart? When you have multiple, so the one which you can see on your screen is nothing but a bar chart only. Okay. Where the different columns and the height of those charts can tell you, okay, which one is higher, which one is lesser, how much one is higher or lesser than the another one. Then you have the pie charts, line charts, and so many other charts which I have categorized here. So relationship chart are those charts which is helping you to find the relationship. And in that scatter plot, bar chart. Bar chart means a chart where you are having the relationship being seen between one categorical column and one numeric column. You are getting my point, guys? One categorical and one numeric column. How come? Suppose I have 4 cities in India, or 4 countries, or maybe 2 genders. Let me keep it simple because you guys are someone of you is situated in Europe or USA and all. So this is the male salary, and this is gonna be the female salary in the IT world. Okay, so you are now having the relationship between the gender, which is male, female, and their salary. Isn't it a relationship, guys? You are somehow getting a sense that, okay, male is getting lesser salary than female in the data analytics or data science world and all. Then comes the composition chart. Composition chart as in pie chart. In this batch, if I'll talk about the percentage wise ratio, how many of the uh, joinees are male and how many of you guys are female? So let us suppose 40% of you guys are female and 60% of them are male. Or if I have put my money in the equity market, how much money I have placed then into the mid cap and small cap and large cap. Or how much money I have placed that in the IT world, IT sector, in the manufacturing sector, in the pharmaceutical, in the healthcare, or in the banking and finance. So this is just a composition you are having in forms of the pie chart. I would be writing the problem statements for each one of them so that you guys can stick to the idea. And I would also invite each one of you to take a look on how they are working. And I would also like your keen participation in that. Is that all clear, guys? So I'm now helping you to get along with an exercise. And exercise in terms of those numbers says that, okay, scatter plot, bar chart and column chart, same thing. Then you have line chart and area chart. Then you have pie, histogram, and bar. Bar is already done. Pie. Then you have distribution, that is box and histogram again. So let me focus on these charts first, and then it is going to be a story. So first of all, which chart is used for what purpose? You have to fill that, whether it's a relationship chart, composition chart, or distribution chart. Then I'm also writing the problem statement and invite you to think from the sample superstore data. Okay, so everyone just think about the sample superstore data and tell me what kind of question you can come across for that chart. Hiren, are you getting my point? Kazi, Razleen, Gauri, yeah? Like suppose if I have to put you and get you a problem statement for that sketch plot, I can say that, okay, how the profit is related to the sales. So you have 2 columns. One is the profit is there. You already have the sales. So 2 numeric columns, and you are going to be creating the dots for each one of them, and you'll find the relationship. Correct or not? So this is one task. Second, for bar chart, I can say, okay, so you already have pulled out the return for the different sectors, right? What is the return of various segment? You already have done that, right? Each year in each segment. Let me write that for you. Correct? Can you display the total return of each segment in each year? So that is nothing but gonna be displayed with the column chart or a line chart. Sorry, column chart and bar chart. Then I can talk about the sales in various years. That's first point where you will have, okay, yeah, category wise sales. So you have 4 categories and you will end up creating a kind of chart like one. This is the one, and you have 3 categories, right? So one for this category, one for this category, and another one for this category. So here you have sales, and here you have year. So 2016, 17, 18, 19 wise, and category A, And then we have pie chart. I can talk about the categories or the sales, composition, histogram, sales. Histogram and box plot is for sales or profit or quantity. You can use any number, okay? There are the two charts which you have been, so all of these charts are something very similar that what you have been studying into the 8th and 9th standard school mathematics. This is also the very same thing, histogram and box plot. Box plot, you can probably deprioritize that. I will be discussing that in the statistics class further. But histogram is the very same thing, which tells you the number of or the frequency of the items in the various intervals. And we kind of get this layout. Suppose age is there or sales is there, any kind of thing, okay? So height of the chart represents the number of people or the data points. Suppose if I'll talk about the age, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 40, 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 50 to 55. Suppose there is a gap of 5 years. And if I'm talking about my resources and the employees, okay, so with this chart, I comes to know that in my team, in my company, most of the people or highest number of people is actually in the age bracket of 20 to 20, sorry, 25 to 30. And if I'll go here and there, people keep on decreasing. So this layout, so this is also telling you the distribution, how the data is being spread or splitted into the whole range. So the keyword is distribution. Clear to everyone? I'm wrapping up this in a nutshell that the basic core charts, I'm focusing on the core charts. You can keep, I mean, we will be keeping on enhancing our learning knowledge base, but core chart means these charts. And for the sake of our simplicity, I have divided them into 3 categories. Those set of the charts, which is helping you to see the relationship in between the 2 columns, like the one I told you. For them, you can use scatter plot, bar chart, column chart, or line chart. Those charts which help you to find the composition in the data, like the pie chart, bar chart, histogram, and all. And distribution means how the data is being spread or distributed. So we have box plot on histogram. What is box plot? It is also being called as whisker plot. I'll show you the image. Whisker plot means Whisker was a scientist who invented that. And though it is not mandatory for you to just trouble about that, as of now, I'll be discussing that again in the statistics classes. But this kind of chart on your screen right now is actually a whisker plot, where you have a kind of rectangular box at the center. The lower boundary tells you the first quartile, that is Q1. Central line tells you Q2 or the median. And third outer boundary of that rectangular box tells you the Q3, quartile 3. Then you have the lower boundary and the upper boundary of that whole chart, which tells you the lowest value or the highest value. How to interpret that chart is actually a interesting call, and we will be helping you to understand that at the time of statistics classes, because this is more about the statistics. So I don't want to probably play with your emotions right now, because many of you might be absolutely new to the statistics word. So is the reason I'm going along with this. So this is what the chart in a nutshell looks like for you. Then for the sake of the better clarity, you can also think it from the kind of columns involved. For that, I have categorized them into 3 buckets again. Univariate means all the kind of analysis which is being done on one column, where you just need only and only one column. That kind of analysis being called as univariate. And you can see with the problem statement as well. Isn't it so? That for box plot and histogram, you have been just considering, or you are just required to consider only one column. So that means this is univariate. Those kind of charts for which you have to have exactly 2 columns, those kind of charts are being called as bivariate, like category and sales, 2 columns involved, so bivariate. Category and sales, 2 columns involved, so bivariate. And it can be a univariate as well, okay? Segment, so bivariate. So for that, I have categorized them into univariate and bivariate. Scatter plot, bar chart, line chart, area chart. For all of them, you are required exactly 2 columns. This is 1 column. And there are going to be much more charts where you have to have more than 2 columns. That is multivariate. So this is how it looks like. Let me now help you to get along with the charts. And for that, I'm opening the sample superstore data for you. I can come up with multiple choices for you. So this is the whole data looks like. I can do the pivoting and all for you to better command that. Let me do some pivoting so that we can have the consolidated view. Suppose this is segment and this is sales. Okay, so you got this one. Or yes, we pasted like values because you just have learned the base specials, right? And maybe you can just mention the labels. This is what segment. This is sales. So just select the whole table and you can have all the kind of charts. Saida and my other friends, can you all see that panel on my screen now? So that is what I was saying, that it is not that complicated for you to come across with the various charts. It is just a matter of understanding which chart is used for what purpose. So I can create any kind of these charts right at a finger click. Is that all clear, guys? Suppose, let's go with that pie chart. Isn't it interesting that you have majority of the things? Now, in terms of the labeling and all, this is all about cosmetics. I'm not getting into that trouble as of now for you that you can have the percentage and all and all and all. For that, you can keep on getting more and more things being aligned with that. I hope this makes sense, guys. I'm not talking about the cosmetics because when I'm talking about the data visualization, there are thousands of the things like shape, size, color, format, labeling, legends, and all and all and all. So that's not the trouble. That's not the matter of our concern as of now. I just want you to understand first thing first that what is chart, what is pie chart, which for what reason we can use that. And further into that, you can have thousands. You can spend days and days, years and years, like Ankur, how I can get the number, how I can get that in the bold italic. I don't like that blue color. Can I have that in a purple color? This is so bad, ugly looking red color. Can I have that red color? Thousands of the questions are there. So I just have told you to create the pie chart, bar chart. Maybe I can pull out the line chart as well for you guys. Okay. So suppose this is the sales. And you guys can pull out the year-wise sales by any means. So whenever you want to have the several fields, you can copy paste the table as well. This is the pivot table. And instead of that, I can have order date and the sum of sales, and I can group that, okay? So here you can see there is an option under the pivoting called grouping, and I can group that on the basis of quarters, months, and year, whatever the way you like, okay? So that way you can see this has been split into the group questions. So this is how you can align there. This is the kind of chart I have created for the line chart. You can see January, February, March, and all in all. So this is all about, so long story short, as a kind of a consolidated learning, all I would like you to understand that, okay, this is the panel where you can just plug and play. It's a simple game, plug and play. But for that plug and play, you have to really understand which chart you want to create for what purpose. Which chart is used for what purpose? Like, is that a relationship chart? Is that a composition chart? or is that a distribution chart? So fill up that matrix first. Also mention the kind of variables needed. That means, is that a univariate or bivariate or multivariate? Let me be just univariate or bivariate. Don't get into bivariate. Okay, that is one thing. Plus, I am also helping you or going to be asking you to write your own problem statements, that where you think what kind of problem statement you think this chart could be relevant to create there. Okay. Am I clear, guys? So this is something which which you guys need to take care of that now during the class. So suppose I want to see the sales for various designations, average salary for various designations for the various genders, is that, or various units. Okay. Suppose the problem statement you guys are using is, I'm writing that for you. Find the average salary of male and female for the various departments. Departments as in units people are working. Clear to everyone? And show that with the appropriate chart. So if you have to get along with that, what I can do is, obviously I have to get into a pivot table. Here you go, getting this pivot table. So these are all the units I have, correct? Finance, IT and all. And here I have the genders, that is male and female. And I wanted to have the salary, and that to the average salary. You can do whatever the way you want to align that. And let us see if you want to have this kind of two different pillars. That's one thing. So I would like you to be very, very crystal clear with what we are talking, okay? All I'm saying is that whether you want to have two different pillars or you want to have this kind of stack chart, it is all up to you or with the client. I hope you are getting my point, what I'm saying, guys. Let me put it in a more simple way. If you can see that on your screen, I only want to say that both of them are the stack charts or the bar charts. Should you be creating this, your call or manager's call? Should you be creating this, your call or manager call? It is one or the same thing. Here also, these are the absolute value terms. But if you want to have something interesting right there, let me see, let me tell you. Okay, lovely guys. So take a look what I'm saying. So three different charts on the same data, more or less giving you the same inputs, but the way the values are getting used or the inputs are getting interpreted can vary situation to situation or person to person. Are you all getting my point? So let me keep it side by side like this, okay, on your screen. So for the same thing, that is why I was saying that understanding the concept is really important. Okay, let me highlight that what I'm saying. So when you will look into this tab, I got these three charts created, that is column chart, then you have stack chart, and then 100% stack chart. Clear? So everyone, you should take a note of it. What I'm saying is important. This is column chart, which is just another version of bar chart. Clear? This is stack. Stack means one pillar over the above pillar. Like you can see, male is red one, female is green one. So with this way, you can also get a sense, okay, for finance, on an average salary is this much, or total salary is this much kind of thing. Are you getting my point? So for the total kind of thing, suppose I want to get the total salaries being shown there and all. So with this way, I can highlight that. So you can get, okay, out of 10 rupees, 4 rupees are going to into this pocket and 6 rupees are going into this pocket. So this can give me all these three figures. Is that all clear to everyone, guys? This chart is used whenever you want to have the consolidated numbers as well. So this is one pillar, this is another pocket, and all together I have the complete pocket as well. Yes or no? Submission. But if you want to know, okay, out of that, which percentage split is female and male, then I can use the 100% stack chart as well. This is normal absolute stack chart. This is a column chart. So my point is that should you be using column chart or a stack chart or 100% stack chart is something which your stakeholder or your management or you should be deciding. It's not up to us to learn and stick to that as of now. But yeah, on the same data, I have been helping you to create all these three charts. I hope it is clear. And that is what the only learning you should be sticking with. Customer churn data is actually a telecom data where you have multiple fields, the kind of services the various customers have taken out, and the various products, the profiling, and the charges they are being paying for that. And at the last, you have whether a customer has churned or not. Churn means whether has customer discontinued taking that services or not. So I would request you to come up with an interesting problem statement, like whosoever has done with that HR wala can move on to the customer churn and suggest me any good problem statement too. And you can create a lot of other charts. Maybe you could have added gender as well, like gender and so on. So depending on that situation, I can create that. You have this donut chart as well. I'll tell you. Donut chart and pie chart is fundamentally same. This is being called as donut chart. This is being called as pie chart. They are just the brother-sister relationship, very much same. But this is aesthetically more professional and more aesthetically pleasant is the reason we often use that into the regular reporting stuff. Clear? Otherwise, in terms of the articulation, in terms of the purpose, both of them are exactly same. It is. Now this depends. As I told you earlier, I was creating this chart. Can you see that this is very weird because three different colors. But professionally, if you would ask me, Ankur, which chart would you prefer? I will go for this one. Are you getting my point? Where you have the same color shades of blue color, lighter than darker and darker, rather than going for some multicolor, very cheap looking kind of chart. That's correct, Amy. We use the donut chart as same as for the same purpose of for the percentage of progress. Yes, that's correct. We can use that as well. But semi chart is what you often use that for this purpose in terms of the proposition. But in the larger picture, if you'll see, donut chart and pie chart is one of the same thing, with the only difference that you have a hollow ring in between that. Fundamentally, it also tells you the composition. What you are saying is what being used as the progress chart. Okay, this kind of chart we often use that speedometer chart, progress chart. So multiple charts are there for the same purpose, which may look like the same thing for you. Got my point? So before I move on to the speedometers and all, it's important for us to understand the chart is. For this additional help, I am going to be sharing the deck with you guys so that you can just take a complete advantage of it. So there are several charts. So first of all, you need to understand one thing, guys. It may not be possible for you to create the charts. Suppose if you would ask me, Ankur, can you create a speedometer chart as of now, right away, right now in Excel? I may or I may not be able to create that. Let me be simple, okay? I may or I may not be. But if I am not able to create that chart as of now directly, doesn't mean that I am anyway lesser or unknowledgeable trainer or a data scientist, because it is just a matter of some plug and play, some plugins. Excel file directly does not support that. I have been creating this a lot in Power BI and Python directly. If you are forcefully ask me, Ankur, no, we have to create that in Excel as well. I can create that, but for that, I have to do some installation, some plug and plays on that. But more importantly, we need to understand which chart is used for what purpose. Are you all getting my point, guys? Suppose in this case, if you see, this kind of chart is not directly available. For that, you have to download some plug and plays and all. So here is the summary for the whole conversation session today. That charts helps us to represent the data graphically, thereby making it easy to compare and understand the patterns, trends, and all. We have some basic charts like column chart, line chart, pie chart, bar chart, donut chart, bucket chart, this chart, and that chart, and so on and so forth. So we have been doing all of these charts. I have given you 3 different data sets as a part of the practice, as a part of the learning. I would encourage you to probably look into these 3 problem statements to work there. Am I clear, guys? You have 3 different data sets. I can say that within the sample superstore, you can probably get the problem statements for all. So as a part of the activity, if you guys haven't filled up that exercise, that sheet, please do that so right away. That is going to be helping you a lot. Plus, make sure that all of you guys are working on these 3 problem statements. So with this way, I hope you must have really enjoyed this whole conversation.